two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, bro?
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Is my sound working?
Your sound is working.
Is the video on?
Yeah, the video's on. Everything seems...
I'm in the right room.
Yeah, I think everything is good. Those of you that don't know what Generation X Gaming is, like I said earlier, it's a weekly podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern. We go over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. You can listen to us or watch us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and also on YouTube Music. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. On today's show, we're going to be talking lots of rumors we're going to talk about. But before we get to the rumor stuff, we're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to talk about Stellar Blade. We're going to talk about Microsoft AI. We're going to talk about Nintendo. We're going to talk about Prince of Persia. We're going to talk about, Hellblade 2. We're going to talk about IGN. We're going to talk about... rumor of Steam. We have lots of rumors. Steam rumors. We got Star Wars rumors. We've got Microsoft, Xbox Game Pass rumors. We got lots of different things here. We're going to talk about Sony rumors. We're going to talk about PC grew. PC games market grew a lot more than the console games last year. We're going to talk about Arrowhead with Helldivers 2. We're going to talk about Overwatch. We're going to talk about Atari if we get to it, and we're also going to talk about, in general, about why people aren't going over to the next consoles. Is it strange or is it normal? These are all topics on today's show. If you like what we do here, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So, Sarge, been another week. We're not going to say what we've been playing yet, but what happened this last week? Anything exciting happened over the weekend or through the week?
I got tennis elbow, I think. I don't know what's going on.
From playing actual tennis or...
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's a muscle thing, if it's cartilage thing, but I think I've reached my limit. I think I'm starting to break down now.
I know what that's from. It's playing too much Lord of the Rings, A Battle for Middle Earth with the mouse.
I thought that might be it, but I got some cushions for the armrests. I think that might have been it. Maybe my elbow's on the wrong spot. I think
you need the padding underneath your wrist for the mouse.
I thought about that too because it coincidentally, it didn't start happening until after I started playing the game on PC more.
I'm telling you,
it's a possibility.
Exactly,
it's
what's
a
happening.
Possibility.
Maybe you have to. You can't play. I was gonna say maybe you should play console like a controller, but I don't think it's controller supported.
I don't know. I think maybe it's left hand lurker, not the right hand. It's left hand for that.
Too much masturbation. Is there a thing? Is there such thing as too much masturbation?
Yes, there is actually.
Is there? Okay,
but.
Is that what blind people say? Because that's what they told me. You go blind if you...
No, that doesn't happen either.
I went to Legoland last weekend after the show. Fun.
Like right after?
Well, not right after. The next day. The next day we went from Friday to Sunday. We went to Legoland. Lots of fun. It's a good park for kids. I want to say like 4 to like 10, right? 11 or 12 if you've never taken your kid to a park before, right? Like if they've never seen a theme park before and you bring them when they're like 11 or 12.
What do you mean? What do you mean they've never seen one before?
I'm just saying, like, there's kids that maybe have never gone to an amusement park before. Like, I'm not talking about like a carnival. I'm talking about like an actual theme park.
There's like 50 games about amusement parks. These kids know what amusement park
but what I'm saying is if you've never been to a theme park and you're 11 or 12, Legoland's like at the cusp. Go to Legoland.
That's a long time not to go to amusement park. Even as a little kid, they take you to the smaller amusement park.
I'm just saying, if you're 11 or 12, don't take your kids there. Under 10, perfect park. 10 is like they'll be bored. Right? So my nephew was 8 and my son's 9, and my son's been there before and he was okay with it. But at the end, he's like, yeah, a lot of the rides were boring because they're meant for kids younger, right? So once you go on like a roller coaster or two, but we did something. I tricked my son because he doesn't want to go on Space Mountain, right? He doesn't want to go on Space Mountain. So I tricked him. I said, all right, well, let's go on this roller coaster. So we did this roller coaster like a Space Mountain roller coaster, but it's outside, right? So it's not indoors. Then we went to a water park and we did one of those dark tubes where you go inside, you can't see anything, and you go down. He loved it. And I said, great. Now that we did the water slide in the dark and you did the roller coaster, I was like, now you can do Space Mountain. He's like, really? That's how it is? I'm like, exactly like the water slide. Yep. So he's excited.
See, you don't remember this, but do you remember how long it took me to go on Space Mountain?
No, I went on before you did.
Time.
Yeah, I went on before you did.
It took me a long time before you went on Space Mountain, bro.
Yeah, I was 4.
I was terrified.
I was 4. You're 8, and you didn't go on it. I went on it before you. My dad tickled me the entire time while I was on Space Mountain, and since that moment, when I was 4 years old, I've loved roller coasters ever since.
Sounds like abuse.
That's not abuse. Remember that? Remember Space Mountain didn't even have seatbelts. Now they have full-on harnesses, right? When we went on Space Mountain, it just had that little lap rope that went around you, that had the little loop that you put through the. Wasn't even a lock-in. It was like a hook and a hole through the seatbelt. That's what it was. Times have changed. Times have changed. Well, let's get to video games and what we've been playing. All right, Sarge. Another week down. Another games to play.
My time travel.
What have you been playing?
I finished the campaign for Battle of Middle Earth 2 on hard.
Ooh.
Almost broke my mouse. I started playing the Battle of Middle Earth. I'm sorry, I finished Battle of Middle Earth 1.
The original.
Campaign.
Yeah, the original.
Right. Then I didn't realize inside the launcher that you actually have to tab down to pick the other game. I thought I was missing the game because it only showed Battle for Middle Earth 1, but there's a tab to pull down. So I started playing that one. I got to tell you, when I played that game, I think the game was made way too early for the processors of the computers of its time.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because when I play,
why do you say that? I should say.
Okay, so the resolution of those games at that time in 2008, 2009, when that game came out, or it was 6 to 9 actually. The computers of the time, unless you had like a beast of a machine, then the game ran decent, right? But I have a beast of current day, and when I play the game, it runs so amazing, and the resolution is so good.
I see what you're saying.
That I think that when they made the game was ahead of its time. Machines back then for normal people couldn't run the game. Like when you click on your guys and make them run, it's like you click on them and they go, okay, let's go. Right now, it's like click go. The guy's like, yeah, let's go. Like everything moves like it's supposed to move for an RTS.
Well,
right?
People back then probably had a better processor, and it was doing that. Even then, when I had that game, then I had a decent machine. I didn't have a low boy machine. I had a decent machine. It still didn't run. I just think that those kind of games are very graphic intensive. They just need a lot of processing power, and it runs amazing. Maybe it's a hack from the guys who broke it. Maybe, but it's still fun. It's still hard. Almost broke a mouse, right? So the Battle from Middle Earth. Did you break it? Like you're like, you picked up the mouse and you're like squeezing it, you're slamming it on the.
Yeah, but my mouse doesn't have I don't use wires.
No cable. Who uses wires? Yeah, no one uses wires.
Like I could throw it.
But chat's gonna come in. No, I use wire. I still use wire.
I don't even plug in my USB card. I'm playing Wi-Fi next to the wire. Yeah. So between Battle for Middle Earth and then of course my one game a week for Spice Wars against crazy people online.
You're like in this RTS format right now. I see. Like you're
and
all
we
in.
Discussed this already. We've discussed this. I talked about it at the beginning of the year. I told you coming around the corner, right? They have RTSs lined up back to back to back. They just haven't started releasing them yet, but like that's the next push because everything else has fallen into the toilet. So they need something to push things forward. And I already said it before. I watched all the videos for the guys that are for all the tech, the new tech guys who are looking for the up and coming games, and the up and coming games
Are all
are
RTS.
mostly RTS.
Which is funny because
Right?
you sent me a video with Asmongold talking about how people are stupid. Gamers are stupid because they don't want to play games like RTS. They don't want to think. They just want to play the game and they just want to be like,
Yeah.
They don't want to think. They don't want to do
Yeah.
anything. But most
Yeah.
people play games because they want to use their brains.
Well, originally,
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
they don't want to.
trying to beat the AI in an RTS game before you go online to play somebody else, because you have to learn the game, right? The RTS was you against the computer, right? The whole point is to learn the game and learn how to beat the computer. Then, of course, you learn how to cheese the computer because you find out his
Right, then it
weakness.
gets super easy.
But same thing, right? Before you go against somebody else, you got to learn the game. What they're saying, according to statistical data, is nobody wants to use their brain anymore. You just want to be a pile of mush in your chair, and you just want to
Mouth open.
Yeah.
I love video games.
Yeah.
I love cutscenes.
Just mongoloids.
Yep.
Yeah, mongoloids.
Push X every 10 seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We need to bring back the sloth.
X
meme.
for doubt. That's why I can't stand turn-based. Akuta Papa says I can turn my brain off.
Aku, you know as well as I do, because I think you've been around at least for a decent amount of time for RTSs. If the turn-based RTS is done well, then I don't mind it. But if it bogs down into this crazy deliberation of statistical data of hits and misses and defense numbers and all kinds of stuff, then I lose it. I lose interest. But like, for instance, like when they redid XCOM, like when they redid it, right? There wasn't like a giant bog down of stuff. It was like, this is the gun, this is where you need to be. You kind of just move and go. You can set it for auto fire and just go. It's not like this nonsense where you have to calculate everything every step of the way and save 100 times. I moved to the left, died, reload. I moved to the right, died, reload. Like, the only reason why they put what they call Iron Man, the only reason they put Iron Man in those games is because they knew that every other, and I'll say it, a mongoloid was reloading every 12 seconds because they didn't. It's almost like putting your fingers. I'm using an old man analogy. I'm sorry, chat. I know you guys are young. It's like putting your fingers in the choose your own adventure books, right?
Oh, yeah.
to mark the pages. If you didn't like what choice you made, you just go back and pick it again.
Yeah.
Like you're cheating against yourself. You're like you got your fingers in the damn book. Like,
People
just read the damn book.
People don't understand what a choose your own adventure book is. Yeah, they're like, what do you mean fingers?
But it's exactly the same thing with the video game. It's like, okay, if I die, I made the wrong choice. If I die, I could have just reload, and you just can't like suffer the consequences of your actions.
Right.
Nope, reload. So then they throw in Iron Man, and then everybody walks around with their testicles in their hand. I did the game in Iron Man. I'm better than you. Like, you mean you played the game? Right? You mean you played the game and whatever happened? That's what normal people used to do.
That's how I play
Not
the
that
game.
you put the little badge on, like, put my badge on, did Iron Man, better than all of you. Like, no, fucker, you just played the game normal. Like the rest of the fucking planet. Okay, I don't understand what we're talking about. Too much coffee.
So other than that, what other anything else you've been playing?
All right. Yeah, about how many games do you want me to play in a week?
I'm just asking what you played. That's all I'm asking. You could tell me one game. I don't know what you played.
Battle from Middle Earth 1, Battle from Middle Earth 2, right?
And Battlefront 2.
Spice Wars against crazy people online. Yeah, we played Battlefront the other day.
You still playing?
And of course, every Sunday, Hell Let Loose scrimmage.
Are you still playing Fallout?
You saw me playing Fallout. Don't even lie to me. You got your Xbox on. I'm on all the time.
I don't have my Xbox on.
I tried. After evaluating their bullshit.
Don't lie to you. I didn't know if you were playing Fallout. I just asked if you were playing Fallout.
After evaluating their bullshit, I do believe that on the Xbox, I'm only speaking for myself now, on the Xbox, I don't think there's a real big difference in the graphical fidelity. I think maybe they're talking about PC because I'm not really seeing. I do see frame rates are better.
The
frame rate.
No, the
frame rate's better.
graphics look crisper, and also the frame rate's better on console.
frame rate's
The whole update was better for console, not for PC. PC was
Yep.
widescreen and whatnot.
But you have to understand, it took like 4 years after Fallout 4 came out for the modding community to make the cool mods that worked for the game.
Sure.
Now that Bethesda did this whole update,
Yeah,
right?
they got to do it again.
Modders have to redo everything over again to get the cool mods that work inside the game now. So
Sure.
it's like, do I wait? Do I care? It's like it depends. Like see, for me, when I want to zone out and I hit my pen or I take my gummy and I want to zone out and I don't want to be stressed out, I just start a new Skyrim character. Like, right? That's what I do, right? I've said this in the past, right? Dark room, AC's on.
AC's down.
Right? AC's on, blowing on me, so I'm fucking freezing. And then I start a game of Skyrim, and like I'm in.
You're making your own 4D
Yeah.
game experience.
Yep. Right. Then I got a heated blanket, a heating pad. Right. When I go inside the,
I don't believe you do any of this shit.
I'll get the heating. It's right there.
That's because you're old and you need a heating pad. I don't think that's
the heating pad's right there. When you go inside the house, you're cold, but you have the heating pad near the fire. Like, I do my own shit, bro. I'm all about immersion. I don't know how else you guys are playing games.
Well, I should have brought the story up then about the smell-o-vision thing.
You guys are playing games with headphones on. Here's my favorite thing. You guys are playing games with headphones on, but the headphones don't actually cancel out your kids screaming, your wife asking you questions, the car motorcycles going by, airplanes flying overhead. So you hear all that with your headphones on. Like, I put the headphones on and I'm out. Like, someone could be choking, shot, fire, whatever. I don't hear nothing. All I hear is game.
You're like, I'm like, you're like,
yep. Don't know.
This weekend I played more Fallout 76. I got to level 100 now in the season pass, so I'm putting all my stuff together. If it's good or bad for the season, the next season starts in like a week and a half or so, like that. I played a month in, but not an actual month of time, and so I'll give my review of that in a couple of weeks. So I played Fallout 76. I played some Battlefront 2. I'm loving Battlefront 2, man. I love it. Like that Jabba Palace that we played last night.
I'm just smiling the whole time. The whole time I'm playing it, I'm smiling.
The Jabba Palace.
Because my face hurts.
Yeah.
When we log off, my cheeks hurt because I know I've been smiling for the entire time.
Yeah, the Jabba Palace last night where we had to hold the door for 7.5, almost 8 minutes, and we did it. That stuff is fun. And then we still lose. I think we lost like 3 matches in a row to the NPC.
The computer goes, not today. Not today.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you notice, like if you use the ability for the sniper and the guy and you cast out the radar, you can see them. You can actually watch them when they spawn in. Instead of running directly at you,
they wait.
They sit and they wait.
They wait for the other ones.
They wait until the giant dog pile of them.
Yep.
And then they come pouring through the door like World War Z. They come through the door just firing like a maniacs.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like that.
How come our guys don't do that? How come the
NPCs on our team don't do that?
Don't gather in a pile and then try to push. I don't see that happening.
Weird. So because I played that last night and you and Magic were talking about Star Wars Empires, okay? I was
Empire at War.
Empire at War, yeah. I was like
with the mods,
yeah.
It's still a great game.
So
with the mods.
I bought it today.
With the mods.
I bought it today. I started playing this after. I bought it. Yeah, $20. I got the gold edition on Steam. I downloaded the mods for what was the it's called the Empire at War remake. Okay, so it's a mod that you put on that upgrades it, and it has the Galactic Conquest mode inside there. I was like, I'm sold, right? So that's why I bought it. I saw the mod of the update, or the mod update, right, which came out like 2 years ago. It was like 4.0 or whatever it was. So I downloaded that. I started going through the tutorial. I started up my own campaign now, and man, I'm like, dude, this is so good. Right. 16 years old.
That's correct. Now
16 years old, and I'm like, this is good.
Look at that game with the mods, and now say to yourself, because we're gonna go into the story later, right? Total War version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now you understand.
Yeah. So now I'm playing this. I was like $20. That's an easy buy. I was like, let me buy that. I'm not gonna like no life it. I'm just gonna play
I mean, you bought a 16-year-old game. There's so many great games on the market today, bro. How come you didn't dip into the giant pot of gold that is today's gaming?
Because I can wait 16 years until they're done making that game, right? Because the games that come out today, they're not done at completion, right? Like this game is the same game that it was 16 years ago when it came out.
Here's a trivia question for you, right? The game
for me or for them?
Well, for you, chat could be involved too, right? But they might be too old because I'm the old guy. Remember, the game they made before Empire at War that was like Empire at War, but it didn't have any of those kind of graphics or play styles. Do you remember the name of that game?
Yeah, that was
same type of game, except it didn't have the battles that way.
It was an RTS Galactic Battlegrounds. No,
I can give you a hint. The word is involved with Star Wars. I can say that.
Star Wars, Galactic Empire.
No, that's you're thinking about Galactic Battlegrounds. That's the Age of Empires version of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's Galactic Battlegrounds. That's not it.
There's another one before that.
That's correct. The one when I bought it back then when I was younger, I thought that game was going to be like what Empire War is 16 years ago.
I know. I visually see the game. I just don't know the name of it.
Yeah, it was basically it had to be all in your imagination. They showed you the ships, and the attacking of it was just like these on a vector. It was on a vector grid. Like imagine like a vector grid turned catty corner XYZ, and the ships would move inside there, but they'd be like like back then graphics, right?
Right.
Just called Rebellion. That's all it was called.
Oh, Rebellion. Yes.
Yeah. And I thought that game was awesome then.
Right, it was amazing then.
You see Empire at War, you're like, I don't know what the hell I was playing.
Yeah, Empire at War, man. The amount of dialogue that happens, the strategy, the entire galaxy that's in the game, the amount of like putting ships in orbit to blockade, and then the ground troops, and then you can send the spies to take the bounty hunters out, or you send the bounty hunter out, and there's so much. And when I was going through the tour, I was like, holy shit. I was like, there's a lot to know here.
But that's why I said you should play the game without the mods first, because the mods put in everything on top of that cake.
I want the Galactic Conquest.
But there is Galactic Conquest in the normal game.
I thought there was I thought the new Galactic I thought the Galactic Conquest was part of the mod.
No, the original mods upgraded the graphics of the game. The crazies who love Star Wars did the mod that upgraded the conquest portion of the game. So you got all this stuff now. You have the Golan defense platforms. You have to worry about putting guys down. You could put more guys down on the planet. You could actually use the starfighters on the planet instead of just in space. You use X-wings flying around on the planet.
I love the fact that when you're doing the ship battles, right? The ship battles have like, if you have your patrol ships or your fighters going out, and then you had your cruisers and your frigates and stuff, as you're attacking,
it's a paper rock scissor game.
You have to attack.
You have to know when to go with what guy.
Yeah, you have to attack. See, I was taking a lump sum, and I was just shooting him at the ship, and I got annihilated. And I was like, okay. So then I took a fighter ship, backed around them, took out the guns on the back, the laser guns, took out the ion cannons. I was like, this is so good. I was like, this is so good.
16 years old. Once again, how come you're not banging out all the games that are on right now, bro? Come on.
Like
Overwatch is calling your name.
That's so good. I was like, man, I just wanted the graphics, even the graphics for the standard game. When you're gonna make me load this damn game now, right? Oh, I thought you already had it.
I do have it, just don't have it on my new computer.
Oh, the graphics when you look at like Han Solo or Chewbacca and their little pixelated form, like fat and chubby with the thing, I'm like, I'm okay with that. But when
16 years ago,
yeah, 16 years ago. But when you're in the battle up above, and you can do the cinematic stuff, you hit the cinematic button, and then it goes like cutscene-ish as the battle's going on. I was like, this is so good because it's 16 years. Like they don't do that for any of the games now.
No,
don't do any of that.
Don't. They're concerned more about your fun factor and how many battle passes and
Right.
dresses you
Well,
can
that
buy.
right, that and what the zeros and ones are fucking. That's what they want. What sexuality they are. Right. I just want a game that's fun, man.
Still trying to figure out who Pac-Man is.
I said that earlier in the stream. Yeah.
Still bothering me.
Is Pac-Man Pac-Man, or is Pac-Man a cross-dresser as Miss Pac-Man? I don't know. These are, say what you want. All right. Besides that, I played some Battlefront 2, I played some Fallout 76, and I played Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I went back because they added another map, and it's so good.
Is Deep Rock Galactic the Minecraft with the dwarves?
No, this is Galactic Survivor. This is like Brotato. This is like Vampire Survivor.
How is that like Brotato?
That's what it is. It's just,
I thought Deep Rock Galactic was
Deep Rock Galactic is the dwarf game.
Oh, okay.
This is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. This is their game, like Vampire Survivor, but in their own universe with the dwarves. It's a fantastic game. Right, it's a fantastic game. So they added a new map a couple of weeks or months ago, whatever. So I went back and actually started playing it. That game is just so much fun with the mining and then the upgrade process and just everything about that game it's a very good game. Underrated game. If you guys haven't played it or don't know about it, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Go look at that game. It's a lot of fun. So that'll do it for what we've been playing. Let's go to top stories.
I just noticed that Magic Dolphin punched his TV and
with
broke his hand.
Yeah, well, he said the tube, the computer, back in the day.
Yeah,
not recently. Like when the
but the big ass monitors with the tubes in them. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the CRTs. Yeah. All right. So let's start off with Ghost of Tsushima. Right, came out this past week, and Ghost of Tsushima becomes the PlayStation's biggest single-player launch on PC, beating out God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man. Right. So you would think that this would be. That's it. Between Helldivers coming out and being the first game that's launched on PC and PlayStation simultaneously, right? Obviously, it's a live service game. But for this single-player game, which came out, 5 years after the original game? This came out in 2018, chat, if I'm not mistaken, on PlayStation 4. So this is the best-selling single-player game for Ghost of Tsushima. And I think it would have been better, but because of the Helldivers thing that happened a couple weeks ago with the PSN account, and then what they did, because this can't be sold in 180 countries right now. Right, which
170.
No, it's 180 countries. Yeah, I checked before the show.
The number went up.
Yeah, it went up. It's 180 countries that cannot play this game because of the PSN network stuff, right? So from that, okay, which is congratulations to Ghost of Tsushima, right? And to Sucker Punch, okay. From that, then we have Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade sold beyond expectations for this PC port is now being considered, right? And this, to me, is like a no-brainer, right? PlayStation looks at this and says, well, let's see, Helldivers is really doing good. It sold 12 million copies for Helldivers, right? Ghost of Tsushima, fastest-selling, best-selling PC port so far. Stellar Blade just came out for PlayStation, and now, obviously, it blew past the expectations of what they wanted to sell, and now they're considering a port to PC.
So let's just discuss that just briefly, just that little piece right there. So why do you think so many people waited so long to want to buy Ghost of Tsushima? I mean, you could have just got it on PlayStation, right? Could have just got it on PlayStation when it came out, right?
Right, but they didn't want to.
But instead, they just waited.
Right, because nothing happens if you wait.
No, they paid full price.
No. What I'm saying, but
on their PC,
correct
for their PC,
correct. But nothing happens if you wait. Was what I'm saying. Like it's okay to not play a game day one when it doesn't come out. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is the amount of people that waited to play it on PC was a number large enough for them to start bragging in an article about how many copies they sold. Right?
Yep.
So if that's the case, then why don't you just release it with everything else?
Well, this is
so we can be done with that game during that year, so we can be ready for something else instead of having to wait a year after the game comes out.
5 years.
Sorry. Waiting a designated amount of time for it to come out on PC. Now, if the defense is because they wanted to release the proper version of the game on PC so people would be happy, then the answer would be correct because everybody did wait and they did get a good game. right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear a lot of complaints from the PC people, right?
No, and this is why I think you know, people are thinking Spider-Man is going to come out faster than any other game. Like Spider-Man came out last year in was it September, October? I think it was October when it came out. They're saying that it's been a year and a half or so for other games. This is going to be the fastest. They think Spider-Man 2 is going to come out sometime this year. I don't know if that's true or not. It's a rumor. But I think, look, this is just going to get faster and faster. Like Stellar Blade to me should go to PC. I don't understand why you don't want to make, like, okay, mentality is when a person puts a movie in a theater, they want to make as much money as possible that first weekend, right? They're not making the same amount of money 30 weeks afterwards. They're not making that money a year and a half afterwards for, you know, for putting it on DVD or whatnot. They're making the chunk of the change up front at the movie theater. Games make their first impressions that first month. That first month, 2 months is where they're making the big chunk of change. To have a game that's like a Stellar Blade, like a Ghost of Tsushima. Now, obviously, Ghost of Tsushima, 5 years is a long time in a different realm in video game space, right? In 2018. But when that game came out, it was phenomenal for PlayStation. And people waited, like you said, for now to come on PC, and they're selling. PlayStation would be idiots to not launch it the same day and date for the other games, because the people that are on PC don't want to buy a PlayStation, and you're just losing those customers. A very small amount of people that are overlap. No, they're not losing them, but they're losing that initial sales, right? Instead of selling 5 or 7 million copies day one just on PlayStation, they could sell 10 to 12 if they put a day and date on PC and PlayStation. You know what I mean? I'm not asking for PlayStation to put it on other consoles like Microsoft is doing. All I'm saying is PlayStation should take their first-party titles and put it on PC and PlayStation day and date, because they would make more money. To me, it's mind-boggling to me that they don't want to do that. They think they're diluting what their brand is, but to me, I think it's even better they do this, because it's not on the competitor's console. It's on PC, where it's unlocked frames, better experience for those people. And again, if they wait 5 years for Ghost of Tsushima, they'll wait for other games, but PlayStation's missing out on those sales.
But you see, it's the way the article's written. It shines a light directly on the stuff that they don't want to talk about that we've heard on an article in the past, right? The past article that was kind of slipped in, Asmongold talked about it, you watch it on the video, where guys are playing games that are 5 or 6 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe by watching games like Ghost of Tsushima, not just that game, but games like that release on PC, you are watching an entire demographic of actual gamers who are willing to wait for the product to come out that comes out complete and works proper on the hardware that they have, right? So if I love Ghost of Tsushima, maybe I played it at a friend's house, I really wanted it, but I want it on PC because I'm an elitist and I want my game proper.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's good or bad or indifferent. I'm just saying what I'm saying, right? So now I wait 5 years. Ghost of Tsushima comes out. I pay full price for a game.
Right, you're still
that's
paying $60.
5 years old.
Yep.
That's 5 years old. Because if I buy it on PlayStation now, it's discounted. But the PC version is full price, right?
Right.
But I got the game I wanted, right? I got the game I wanted. I didn't have to wait for it to be fixed. I didn't have to wait for the patch. So
right.
The light that we're trying to shine on is PlayStation does. I don't think PlayStation cares, because whatever games they have cycled, they have it cycled like that at ends, right? Like Ghost of Tsushima comes out on console here, so they're playing something else on PC currently.
Sure.
Like something else is going on right then. But then they're excited about Ghost of Tsushima. So when Ghost of Tsushima comes over to here, then something else is here. They're just moving it down the line.
Sure, but I feel like a lot of people, there are people that want to play games the new thing now, right? And I think more people right now would have Ghost of Tsushima, but instead they're playing a newer game that came out instead of a game that was out 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
I don't think the how do I say this proper? I don't believe the number of people who are waiting for games to come out proper is larger than the consumer base that just throws money into the wind, right? There's a small group of people, they have PCs because they can afford those PCs because they're older gamers, right? Or they're getting the pre-built ones for $20 a month or $50 a month or whatever they're doing. But still, you're running the $3,000 or $5,000 rig because you want to, right? So if you're paying that much money for the hardware, you want the software to work,
Right.
right? So you'll wait. I'll just play something else because I would think, and I understand people, they're on both sides. You're a console player, you're a PC player. I get that. I play everywhere. I stopped playing on my PC when my PC blew up and I couldn't have the money to get the PC that I wanted. So I had to wait. So I became more of a console player. I get it. It happens. But what I'm saying is, if I'm willing to spend that much money on my entertainment, I bought the Beast machine because I want that, then I'm a little bit more savvy on when I buy the things that I buy. And,
Right.
Right? And when.
Well,
And when I buy them.
so Krebsy says it's a second chance for big revenue surge. I think sure, it does a big revenue surge. I think it would be a bigger revenue surge if they did it day and date instead of 2 years after, 3 years after, 5 years after.
I need an interview with a developer.
Sure.
And talk to them, and talk to them about what does it take to make a game for PC and PlayStation.
They're making it on the PC.
No. What I'm saying is, what kind of challenges there are to make it on these platforms during your development cycle, and what are you guys concentrating on? Is that why they wait for the PC version? Because they got to get it out.
Sure.
And so they get it out on console, and then afterwards they concentrate, after the money's coming in, then they can concentrate on PC and release the proper product. It almost feels like it's an obligation at that point, not that we have to release it on all 3 platforms.
Right. Real quick, Kuda Papa says, I prefer playing a game at 4K 120 instead of 720 at 30. PlayStation is figuring out what we are a force to be contended with. Right. And then Al Dente says, I feel both arguments are correct as far as, coming out day and date or coming out at a later time. One other person said, where was it? Dave Langer said, would it take longer for games to come out if they do PC day and date? I don't know if it would come out longer because most games, I'm not going to say all games, but most games are developed on a PC. They make it on the PC and then they port it to the actual console, right? Like they're making the game on the PC and they're porting it to the PlayStation. And I understand the files and stuff are different. So, like, for instance, Ghost of Tsushima was on the PlayStation because of I'm missing the wordage, but because of what the format is. But then you think it took them 5 years to port it back over to a PC? I don't know if it took them 5 years for that. I don't know. It just, I just feel like, I think what Microsoft does, for instance, with Starfield, okay? Starfield came out, it sold 2 million copies that we know of early on PC, okay? Now, Ghost of Tsushima, we don't know if it sold 2 million copies, but because the PC player base can play Starfield, the brand new game that's coming out for console and PC at the same time, I think they sold more than they would if now Starfield didn't come out for 2 years or 3 years. Sure, I still think they would make sales, but I think more people buy it because they want the newest thing. You see what I'm saying?
I would agree with your I would agree with your point, except that Starfield is a complete and total exception to what you're speaking about.
Is it though?
Yes, because of where it lied when it came out. Purchased by Microsoft, Bethesda gets a large sum of money. Then they tell them that we're going to use your game to be putting on the Game Pass platform as a hub of people wanting to come and play Game Pass, right? And so to them, they didn't care at that point because they got their chunk of money and their game's going to be put onto 30 million people's Xboxes automatically, right? So they're like, good deal, right? Whatever deal they would have had if they were an independent studio with Game Pass is completely out the window because you just got $7.5 billion to sit around and twiddle your thumbs and release your game.
Right.
Because now you're part of Microsoft. So now basically like, cool, we got bought out, we're in place, we release our game. Now we just sit around, we wait, and we think about what we're going to do. Let's do some updates for 76. Let's do some updates for Starfield. Now we got there's no more pressure currently for them. No pressure currently because they got this lump sum of money at that moment.
Right.
If this had been a completely different studio and you weren't bought out and you had to release a game, I don't know, man. I don't know if the sales of Starfield would have went well enough for them not to do something drastic in the first month of its release because of all the problems that it had, right? But because you had this nice Microsoft pillow, right? Beautiful pillow. Put your head on it. Nothing can happen to me. I'm as comfortable as I can be in Microsoft's arms. Like, you had this big fluffy pillow of money. You don't got to worry about it, right? But was Starfield like a God of War for the Xbox? No, it was not. Was it decent? Sure, it was decent, but not God of War level.
Yeah.
Not Ghost of Tsushima level.
Let me see. El Dente says, I think if they're going to look at it like, oh, we just made a shit ton. So sure, it could have made it in 5 years ago, but we made it as much as now as we still sold it on our console. I don't know if they did make it that much. I mean, obviously, if I go to the Steam charts, right? Let's see. Ghost Steam charts. Right, the director's cut. It says 77,154 all-time peak. Okay. Let's just say they sold 600,000 copies, obviously, right? I don't know what percentage. What did we say a couple weeks ago, chat? It was like 8%, whatever. Okay. Let's just say they sold, 600,000 copies or whatever it is, right? I don't know if they would have sold more. I think they would have sold more if it was day and date. Because, look, 5 years, the PlayStation guys, or I'm sorry, the PC guys could have been like, Ghost of Tsushima is a really good game, because they didn't know it was coming to PC 2 years ago, right? They're just like, it's okay. I don't need to play it, right? I don't need to buy it. I don't need to play it.
That's a different point. See, now what you said right there starts an entirely different conversation, because here's the deal. They probably weren't thinking about releasing it on PC, right? They just wanted to be a console exclusive,
Sure.
and Sony's going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
But because of the
They want to make more money.
They were like, well, if they love it this much, then not only can we sell it on PC, but the guys who have PC might buy it twice.
Well,
right?
I think the reason they decided to put Ghost of Tsushima on there is because they originally tested with God of War. God of War sold really well, right? Then Spider-Man sold really well. And they're like, well, you know what? What other games do we have that we could put over to PC? And they did it with all their other first-party titles. And they just happened to go back around to get to Ghost of Tsushima, okay? Because I think the next PlayStation event, they're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima 2. I think this is why they're pushing Ghost of Tsushima 1 now on PC now, right? That's why I think they're doing what they're doing. But again, I'll stand by what I said. I think they would sell more copies, and I think that shrinkage is going to happen. I think single player, multiplayer, I don't care what it is. I think PlayStation sees that if they release it at the same time, they're going to make a boat ton more money. I'm telling you, man, PC guys will buy the games day one. PlayStation is different than Xbox. The quality of the PlayStation games coming out and their ports on the PC versions are very good. Okay, and I think they, like, God of War, you didn't have to wait 18 months for it to be fixed, right? Horizon, you didn't have to wait 18 months for the game to be fixed, right? You didn't have to wait for these games to be fixed. PlayStation games came out; they were good at start. Their first party games were good. Their first party titles are good, solid when they come out, right? So now the conversation could be, well, if they put it out day and date, is it going to hurt the quality of the games? And yeah, that could 100% happen. But I still believe that they should do it if it's not day and date, really close to each other, closer than 5 years.
Well, I look at it and I say to myself, it's if you can release a game on PC after 3 or 4 years plus and still get full money for that game on PC as opposed to discounted rate on a console, there's no money missing there. They're not missing out on that money. They know they're going to get that money. Right. They're just flip-flopping whatever products there are at the time. Like, if I go back, what games were on PC released? I don't want to do it right this second. I'm just saying, what games were released on PC when Ghost of Tsushima was released on PlayStation? Like, whatever game was out there was probably something else that was 3 or 4 years down the road. That was, I guarantee, I don't know for a fact, I guarantee you that game was like 3 or 4 years older than another game that came out, and they're just cycling games. And so they get a constant stream of revenue for the same games, as opposed to, like, I know most PC guys, if they can't wait for a game, they buy it twice.
Right.
They buy it twice.
Right. That's a small percentage, but yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Yes, it's a small percentage, but you're still making twice as much money on that person because he's got a PC.
Yeah. Real quick, Dave.
Not everybody.
Dave
Not
Langer
everybody.
says, so using your logic, why doesn't GTA release on PC day and date? Well, I hate to break it to you. Grand Theft Auto was originally PC only. Okay. And then it moved to console.
And then with the console.
Right. And then it launched after the fact. And that's a completely different beast. You're literally taking the outlier of all games, right? To say, well, why doesn't Grand Theft Auto do it? Well, Grand Theft Auto is the only game that also sold almost 200 million copies, right? So you're literally like between Tetris and Grand Theft Auto 5 is in the upper echelon of games to say, well, why doesn't Grand Theft Auto do it? That's completely different than what PlayStation's business model is. Grand Theft Auto and 2K don't make consoles, okay? They're not looking to sell consoles. They're looking to sell software, right? So they're not competing with anybody else except for they're just putting a game out there and selling the game. Where PlayStation's trying to sell as much software as possible, but there's a saturation point for their consoles, okay? And the console saturation point is a huge thing. There is no saturation point for physical item to get to play Grand Theft Auto. You can play Grand Theft Auto. They're like, well, here it is on console. Here it is on PC. Here it is on your mobile. What's that?
That was a big deal.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you remember that.
I do.
But when they decided,
1 year after,
Rockstar decided to release Grand Theft Auto 3, and everyone was told that it was going to be a 3D world and not above 2D, right? It wasn't on PC first.
No, it was on
that release.
It was on PlayStation.
That release, it was PlayStation first.
They bought the exclusive, yeah.
Right, and I think the PC
and
version
that is
came out not soon after, like
but
not that long after.
That is why it didn't come out on PC and PlayStation at the same time, because PlayStation was in the business of selling consoles. That's correct.
Right, and I'm pretty sure. Did you buy a console for
100%? I bought a PlayStation for that.
PlayStation for GTA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I remember that distinctively.
That's correct. But that's a different time frame back then, right? Yep. The saturation back then when it came out, PlayStation 2 sold how many copies? 155 million copies total, right? Like
that's over course of the years, though.
Of course. But
yeah.
that many consoles sold more than that, Sarge. That's the saturation point. 155 million. Grand Theft Auto has 200 million copies alone by itself now.
But you're mixing the Grand Theft Autos now. You're talking about Grand Theft Auto.
No,
3,
I understand that, but what I'm saying is the reason Grand Theft Auto comes out later is because people paid for the exclusive first because they're trying to sell consoles. That's the difference.
But that thought process does not work in today's market.
Correct. And that's why
the way things are going on right now, nobody's running out to buy a console day one for a game.
Right. And we've had this conversation though. We've had this conversation though. I said with Netflix, I said with PlayStation. If PlayStation says Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out exclusive for like a time period of 6 months or whatever, that will move consoles. Grand Theft Auto 6 will move consoles if someone gets a timed exclusive. I said if Netflix gets the timed exclusive, people will stream Grand Theft Auto 6 on Netflix because that's the only place you can get it. They would do it. 100% because that's a game of a generation.
Yeah, but that's the only game that has that kind of pull.
Correct. That's the upper echelon. That's what I'm saying. It's such an outlier. Right, it's such an outlier. Yeah, it's a complete outlier. So it's not as simple as like, well, why isn't Grand Theft Auto on waiting? The reason they didn't put Grand Theft Auto on PC and console at the same time is because console paid a shit ton of money to keep it off of, right? To keep it off of PC because they want the exclusive there. No, Starfield is the game of a generation. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. Microsoft. Let me bring this up. Microsoft's AI will be inside Minecraft and other Xbox PC games. New Copilot features will search your inventories, offer tips and guides. Ooh, can't you wait, Sarge? Can't you wait for AI to tell you how to play the game? Let's do the Copilot cliff notes here. Microsoft.
I'm not sure I'm ready for the rant this early for the whole AI discussion inside gaming.
Microsoft Copilot is a suite of tools based on OpenAI's ChatGPT and DALL-E 3 language models to help users with everyday queries. Okay. Microsoft demonstrated the Copilot AI gaming feature today. It's at Surface, an AI event, detailing that Copilot will help gamers find information more easily. Well, I'll tell you what. I was playing Fallout 76 the other day, Sarge, and it took me 45 minutes to do the mission, and YouTube Lurker made this joke. He says it took you 45 minutes to do the mission and took you another 40 minutes just to look through your inventory. Because there's just so much shit to go through in any Bethesda game, right? You're going through the menu system.
So now you're gonna tell me AI is going to sort my inventory for me. AI can while I'm going to the bathroom, the AI will just take over my character and do the mission for me too, so I don't have to even be in front of the damn machine anymore. Like,
right.
The traumatic abuse of gaming AI is going to be horrendous.
Well,
horrendous.
It says using Minecraft as an example, players will be able to.
Life, sir. Just quality of life. What's your problem? It's quality of life.
Minecraft is as an example. Players will be able to ask, "How do I craft a sword?" And Copilot will search your Minecraft inventory for necessary materials and help you craft it. Oh my god, this is so bad. Come on, bro. The best part about Minecraft in the very beginning, when you first start learning stuff, right?
You got to learn how to actually craft something.
Look, before even the guides came out 15 years ago, because Minecraft was 15 years just like a week ago. Okay, you didn't know how to do it, and they made it simple. They're like, well, just take 3 sticks, put them in a line, and then take other wood and put it across, and make the shape of a shovel, or make the shape of a pickaxe, or make a shape of an axe. And you're like, oh, and people started learning and doing all this stuff. Now you're just like, make an axe for me. I need a pickaxe. Give me a shovel.
Let me ask you a question. If you're going to become the Mongoloid, if you're going to play a game where the AI is going to craft the item for you so you don't have to craft it, then was there a reason to craft the weapon anyway? Just give me the fucking item.
Right.
If I'm not gonna make the item, if I need the cup, and I have to make the cup, but if I don't need the cup because the computer's just going to make the cup for me, there's no difference of just giving me the cup or letting the AI craft the goddamn cup. Right. Are we that fucking Mongoloids? You guys are Mongoloids. If you guys think that this is a quality of life feature, there's something wrong with you.
Why would it? Yeah, just give me this. If I'm making a shovel, I shouldn't have recipes and go make a shovel. Just shovel. Just give me the shovel, right? Here's the thing. I don't understand why everyone wants to play video games, right?
Easy mode,
right? Everybody wants to play video games, but nobody wants to play video games. But we had conversations like a month and a half ago about AI playing the game for you. Right now, you have the AI finding inventory for you. You have a call center telling you the easiest part of the game. What is happening?
I'm playing the game. What are you playing? I'm just moving around and I walk around and he makes the item, he swings the sword, he picks up the food, he separates all the loot, he puts on the best gear, he uses the heal potions by himself. Basically what I do is I have one hand on my cock, the other hand on the control stick, and I just walk around and I don't have to do anything. He shoots by himself and I can just jerk in peace. Like, what? It's not even gaming anymore, dude. It's not even gaming. Right. Everything's being done for me. I'm an expert. Everyone should love me. I'm gonna tweet about this. I finished a level in 3 hours. This is the best time ever.
This is what YouTube videos are going to be like in the future. Hey guys, I'm going to teach you how to make a pickaxe with your AI. AI, make a pickaxe, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. It's like
half the videos on YouTube will not exist anymore because you don't have to tell anyone to do shit because AI is going to do everything for you. Like, where's the hidden item? I just asked ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, where's the hidden item? I know where it is. Guy just goes there. Like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? And here's a sidebar for you. You guys had this conversation earlier today, and you talked about how long games are, right? Yeah. This whole argument between why games should be 20 hours or 30 hours and all this nonsense, and that you just gave me the opening, so I'm going to kick down the door, right? So here's the point. A game. They didn't make a game. They didn't go, hey, we're going to code this and go, what do you think, Tom? 16 hours, 20 hours? That's about good for them, right? Nobody did that. They made the fucking game, right? And you played it. Now, some people learned how the game worked, learned how to shortcut, and they could do the game in 6 hours, right? Other people like to search every nook and cranny, go around the whole friggin' game, and maybe it takes them 25 hours, 30 hours, right? That doesn't mean the game took 25 hours to do, right? You guys are using abstract terms to discuss how long a game is based on what, right? So if I'm an average gamer, I only get to play 3 hours a week, and my girlfriend doesn't leave me alone. So it took me 7 weeks to finish the game, and I spread it out across to like 30, 40 hours because I'm always being nagged every 3 seconds about what to do.
Yet.
Right?
What are you doing?
So now it took me 30 hours. But if I was a super nerd gamer in a room by myself with no friends, no girlfriend, and a cat that just shits in a box behind me and doesn't do anything else, I can do the game in 5 hours and then brag about it online. I did the game in 5 hours. It's amazing. Like, okay, 5 hours, great. You figured it out. But to say that they're making games longer or shorter,
Well,
like
I think
that is not a concept. That's not a concept.
I
right?
think I do think for Hellblade 2 it was a concept. They're like, we gotta keep the time down.
What time? What time are you speaking of? Remember, hang on. Remember, when they made the games, right? They just made them, and then everyone was like, "Oh, it's a cool game. It's a cool game." Then they decided, here they go again. Let's raise that bar up because we got to make something new, right? So let's make a game like Oblivion or Morrowind,
right,
where someone is trapped in our world for hours on end. And so we'll have this demographic of people who are like looking behind every tree, looking for the mystic dagger. And then you have other people who are like, I'm mainlining it to every flag I see.
Yeah, no.
Hit the main quests. I finished the game in 15 hours. The game sucked. It was boring. I just followed the flag, and in 15 hours I was done. Like,
yeah, but
they
Sarge,
made the game that lasts 100 hours. Yeah, but I didn't ask them to make a game.
I understand
for 100
that,
hours.
but look,
they did.
There's games that pad, okay, and there's games that don't pad, and then there's
define pad.
Valhalla, okay, where they just make long quests to go from point A to point B, but point B's clear across the map, okay, and it takes you 20 minutes to run across the map, okay, and you can't fast travel, okay, and then they're like, you got to go back. Fetch quest. So the fetch quest tells you to go across the map. You go across the map, and then you have to run all the way back, right?
But that's not how Morrowind.
No. What I'm saying, I understand that. What I'm saying is, there's games. You're talking about games in the past, and I'm talking about games now. There's a completely different model. It's a completely different business model now.
I'm talking. No, you're changing the subject. I'm talking about how big a game is
by
these abstract numbers.
No, but I'm actually explaining to you. There's a completely different business model now for how long a game is.
Because they want you in the game. Because I've got stores in here racking up money for me.
That's correct. They want you to pay a microtransaction, a battle pass, a season pass.
So riddle me this, Batman. So before the horse armor, before the battle pass, before the dresses I could buy for my characters, and before all that nonsense, if you made a game that took 100 hours to finish, why? Why would you do that? Why would you make a game for
because back in
if there's nothing to buy in the game?
Because back in the day, the developers that weren't owned by big conglomerate companies, I don't know why you're taking the headphone off to listen to me, like, right? The actual companies were making games because they wanted to make a game. They're like, oh man, because those people that made the game back then played a game back in the time. Maybe they played Police Quest. Maybe they played fucking whatever, Oregon's Trail. And they went, man, I want to make a game like that, but I want to make a bigger game. I want to see how far we can push this and make a really cool game, right? And that's why they made the games. Then corporations came about and said, you know what? I bet you we can monetize that. I bet you if we can keep someone in the game for 100 hours, I bet you 1.25679% of the people would pay $10 to do that. And this is exactly why they do what they do, and they pad the games.
You hired 5 psychologists to figure out how many hours you have to play before you buy something. That's an actual. What they do is they make a game that takes a long time to play, so people can jump in whenever they want during the course and the life cycle of that game and just play it, because it's going to take them another 2 or 3 years plus to make their next game, because they weren't bound by the publishers. They were making their own shit. And so in order to keep people interested in your stuff until you make the next game, you made a big game to keep people interested. That's why they did it. Look, otherwise, they would just pumped out games, collected the money, and not cared.
Here's a big example, right? Game Pass is the business model for Microsoft, right? A lot of their games that are successful, that they're making games for, right? People look at it and go, Sea of Thieves, Forza Horizon, Halo, Starfield now. Now there's Hellblade. All right, Hellblade 2. The difference between all these games is a lot of those games are live service games, and they're big, have microtransactions. Then there's Starfield. Starfield's just big. No microtransactions yet. Okay, we don't know about the DLC or whatever. We just know right now there's no microtransactions inside the game. Then there's Hellblade. Hellblade is just another game that goes on Game Pass to make the value of Game Pass, right? It's a short game, right? So they can't have all these big, long games on Game Pass, because if I'm only playing Sea of Thieves, I'm not going to try other games because there's 1,000 hours in Sea of Thieves, right? So everyone's looking for like independent games. They're looking for short games. They're looking for 20-hour games. They're looking for 1,000-hour games. They're trying to make different aspects of the games on Game Pass, but the biggest thing is they have to make it work for Game Pass. Okay, if there's no microtransactions in the game, then they want you to play as many games as possible, but on Game Pass. You're like, oh, this is a really good value of a game, and it's on Game Pass. What other games are like this game? Hellblade 2, right? Then there's games like Starfield. You're like, man, this is a big-ass game, and I don't have to pay anything, and that's on Game Pass. And then there's the games like Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon. You're like, wow, these are really fun games, open-world games, and they have season passes, and they have microtransactions, and but they're really fun, right? So there's a lot of, this is why I call Game Pass, like, or what Microsoft is doing, the supermarket type of thing, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. I have no idea, guys, if YouTube is screwing up or not. I'm getting a little bit of blips myself. So if it does that, just make sure you refresh or whatnot. So yeah, I think 100% today they make games bloated or short on purpose because they're trying to get other things across, because that's the business model now. It's not just about making good games from the corporation. If it's an independent listen, I'm being dead serious. If it's an independent studio,
but you're saying it straight face, like it's just a Tuesday.
No. What I'm saying,
games on purpose, so you buy more shit.
That's exactly right. For the corporations, if you're talking about a game like Tunic, or you're talking about a game like Hades, where the independent companies, they're making good games because they're gamers. They make the game. They're passionate about it. But corporation doesn't care about that.
That's right. They have to make a good game because they have to exist tomorrow.
Correct.
So you have to make a good product so you can make it to the next product. But now, in Crazy World, we're allowed to have some corporation throw money at somebody, tell them, like, this is the plan we're going to make, and if you don't make it, we're going to fire you. And hey, listen, even if we do succeed, you're going to get fired anyway.
That's exactly right.
So what is the incentive for me as a development studio to want to make a good game? So either whether it's good or not, the same outcome happens. They're going to divide you up
with corporations
and cut you up into little pieces.
Yeah, with corporations, there really is no good answer. But for an independent developer, the answer is make a good game and sell a good game. Like make a game and then sell that game. And then if it sells good or bad, just move on to the next game. Obviously, if your game sells, it's easier for you to move on to the next game. If it doesn't sell well, then you have to find someone to fund your next game, right? Independent market's completely different than the corporation of Microsoft, of Sony, of Nintendo, of all these other games, because corporations have to keep doing this. Independent companies don't have to keep doing this. They're just trying to be a business, right? They're just trying to be a business. They invested $100, they make 120. They take that 120 and invest it back in the company, and they make 150. Then they make 200. That's not what the corporations do. Corporation says, we make $1 billion, we fire everybody because then we can make $1.5 billion, and then we hire people for lower cost, and then we do it again, right? That's what they do. Yes, it's a completely different thing.
But the issue is that that independent developers have no opening to try to get the capital in order to make their game, except these guys. That's the issue,
right?
You need to have like, maybe, I don't know, someone with a moral and a conscience of business for independence, as opposed to stop trying to milk the cow, and then as soon as the cow stops giving milk, you lop off its head and you sell it for beef. Like, let different colors and be different sizes, and every time they change a variable on that widget, we get to charge the consumer. Whereas the developer is just going, I feel like making a game like this, and we see if we can do this the best that we can. And then we learn from the market whether or not those people like the game or don't like the game, and how can we improve on that game. And if by some chance we don't do well, we learned what not to do, but we're out of business. But that's the way it works.
Right.
But not anymore.
No.
Now we gather up everybody that we can in a 300-mile radius. We tell them that we're going to pay them their insurance and promise them tons of money. Then we subcontract the ones that don't say yes right away, and then we make a game. And then we stuff the game full of so much MTX and battle passes that the artists don't even get to make their game anymore. They have to make the battle plan of the game that the corporation wants, right? And then, no matter how much they sell, they let everybody go. That's the business model. What? It's an artistry, man, right? That's why Larian did the mic drop, right? If you pay attention to that speech, it's beautiful. They're like, we spent a lot of time on this. It was a passion project. We all loved it. We love each other, right? We put this game out. We're done. We're done, right? Because they said, listen, they said that because of how well Baldur's Gate 3 sold. They knew that if they didn't step away immediately and say, listen, we're done. We're not making another one. If they didn't say that, every monkey branch of every evil corporation possible were like, hey, you know what we want to do? We can get you guys in a brand new studio, get you all brand new cars. We're going to make another game. It's going to be amazing, right? That's exactly what they wanted to do. And so Larry was like, nope, made the game. We're winners, and walked out the goddamn room. So, right? That's how it's supposed to be.
You gotta stop.
That's how it's supposed to be.
You gotta stop yelling, going so close to the microphone. It just sounds like a jumbled, bumbled mess when you scream into the microphone like that. Well, speaking of independent studios that are trying to stay independent, right? The next story I want to talk about is Arrowhead wants to remain independent, right? They want to stay independent and achieve what FromSoft or Blizzard status. I don't want to say Blizzard. Don't say Blizzard status, right?
The Blizzard status from 20 years ago.
Right. So it says the company former CEO, who has now stepped aside to focus more on game making, okay, told GameIndustry.biz that we pride ourselves on being independent studio. He says, quote, we have to see what the future holds, but there's nothing in the plans where we want to acquire by somebody. He said, I want to see how high we can fly and bring in new CEO, which they did, on the board. And also we have potential to release the future of turning into the next From Software or Blizzard. Now, see, what's really good about this, what happened to Helldivers, they sold 12 million copies that we know. Okay, 12 million copies. Epic Games, when they made Fortnite, they spent 8 years trying to make Fortnite save the world. Came out and bombed. Okay, and they pivoted.
Greatest save.
They pivoted
ever.
Big time, and then they became financially independent. Right? Epic Games, even though they were independent, they became so independent because of what Fortnite did. They could do whatever they want. They got FU money. Okay, they made trillions of dollars, and they have FU money. Okay, where they can blow money on a launcher and not worry about losing money on those things. Right, billions of dollars they're just losing. Okay, then you look at like Hello Games. Hello Games made a deal with Sony, and then they got dicked over. Okay, for 2 years, sold. Right after the contract was done, they put their heads down, worked on that game, and now they're financially independent because they can make their own games, right? They can do what they want. Now you look at Helldivers. Helldivers sold 12 million copies. Same with Palworld. Palworld is an independent studio. Okay, Pixel Pair, I think they're called.
And they admitted it out loud.
Yeah, they said we're making too much money for we don't know what to do with it, right? But they're financially independent. They can do whatever they want now with that money if they're smart about it. Don't be Bungie, okay?
Why do all these companies hire all these psychologists and psychiatrists to figure out how to get more money out of people, but they won't hire a business or financial manager to help them manage their money? Right? They make a bunch of money and then they start buying gold yachts and gold guineas and going to Indonesia. Like what are you guys doing? Calm down. Just get a grip. Get yourself a financial advisor.
Right.
And let's reel it in.
Pocket Pair. Thank you, Rick. So now Helldivers, Arrowhead Studios, is in this moment where they thought they were going to make like 400,000, like sold, maybe 1 million, 2 million. They sold 12 million copies. Right? They're thinking future now. They're like, wait a minute. Okay, if we're smart about this, we can keep the money that we have and then make another game or invest into the company more. Which you're supposed to do. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? That's normal business, not mega corporation business, right? And you just brought up Larian Studios. Larian Studios is a great independent studio. They keep making the games they want to make. They know what they know what they can produce.
Their team works well together.
Correct.
That matters.
Correct. Right. And
how many times have you read these articles where the team can't agree on what kind of game they want to make, or they can't agree on what? Right. 7 years, you guys haven't agreed on anything. Are you guys a development studio? What are you guys doing over there?
Right. So their goal, it says the goal for the studio is to make really great co-op games. Okay. We really want to turn around Arrowhead into a flagship studio where people who want to make these kind of games say, hey, to themselves, I want to work with Arrowhead. When you grow up, I really wanted to work for Blizzard and one of the bucket list places to work at. And I think Arrowhead has a potential to be that. He says, but it doesn't mean that we have to be a 500-person company. In fact, 500-person company is quite painful in a lot of ways. And we'll see growth, but growth as it means to the end, not as at the end itself. We don't have plans to go public. None of those shenanigans. Measured growth allows us to make the amazing games to be a good place to work at, right? So this sounds fantastic, right? It almost sounds like a lot of these game companies, a lot of these independent studios that are working, it almost sounds like they're trying to get it back to what it used to be, what games were. When Activision, when Blizzard were those independent small studios back in the day, which now are mega corporations, when EA Tiburon Studios was just a small studio. Now they're a big mega corporation. It's nice to hear that these guys now Dave Langer says 30, they just made their new CEO, the guy from Paradox. Paradox is notorious for terrible microtransactions. Yes and no, but we'll see where it goes from there. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
up the game, bro.
Right now,
you want to be 25 million?
Right.
I can do it for you.
Right now, Helldivers is in a good position. They made a shit ton of money, way more than they thought they were going to make. If they're smart with their money, they can last a decade and a half, and make the games they want to make based off of just the money they made from Helldivers, okay, or are still making from Helldivers. Because the difference between Helldivers and other games in the past, they're still making microtransactions from this, right? So it's good to see that them doing it. Dave Rose says they're still they are until they're not, which is true as well, right? You can have a bad person. Let's say the CEO comes in and makes stupid decisions and then burns that money or runs with it. What's the other game at Star Citizen, where his brother took $8 million and just ran with it? You know what I mean? Like, just ran.
$7 million is like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got what I came for.
Right.
I'm out.
So I don't know. I think it's good to hear that these studios don't want to buy, because a lot of people were saying Sony was going to buy these guys. And I think because they sold way more than they thought, I think if they just sold around about what they wanted, Sony would have bought them. But now, because they made so much money, Arrowhead's like, no, we should stay independent because we made so much money. We don't need Sony like we needed them before. You know what I mean? So Helldivers is owned by Sony. They own the IP. So if Arrowhead doesn't want to make the next Helldiver, obviously if their contract says they have to make one more or whatever, that's what they signed. But if they can now have the money to go make the game that they want to go make, they don't have to make the game that they were told to make. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that story. Let's go back to let's start with this is the big story. We're halfway through the show. Okay. We always talk about consolidation's bad. I don't like consolidation. I know you don't like consolidation, right?
For certain things, yes. But when you're talking about consolidation in the gaming sphere now, there's not many left.
Well, right. Well, that's studios. Now we're talking about the journalists. Okay. So IGN, this week, IGN Entertainment acquires Eurogamer, GI, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, and more. Okay, so IGN Entertainment has acquired Game Network, family, and digital brands for undisclosed sum. As a result, the acquisitions has some redundancies and have been made across the UK-based organizations. Gamers Network publication for gamersindustry.biz, Eurogamer, includes 6 local language editions: Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, and Dicebreaker. The business also holds shares for Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, and Hookshot, which also operates under Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension. Okay, so IGN Entertainment Division now includes IGN, Map Genie, How Long to Beat, Humble Bundle. Also required websites from PAX, New York Comic Con organizer ReedPop, and initially bought the Gamer Network business in 2018. So a lot of people are looking at this, which I kind of find funny, Sarge. A lot of these people that work for IGN were talked about how it's so good that Microsoft was buying Activision Blizzard, and this is good, right? Not bad. And then all of a sudden, now consolidation with the company they work for, okay? And people are already being laid off. They were being laid off before the actual thing was getting by. It's starting to come out now that people that were up high for their outlets, okay, were being let go right before this was going. And they're like, why am I getting let go? And because the redundancy, right? The redundancy of this. So the problem that I have with this is not because I'm a YouTuber and obviously my morning show is reading the news and having conversations about the news, right? Well, it's a lot harder to fucking do news stories if the news is all being written by one person or one AI and then copy pasta to 15 different news sites that are all under one umbrella, all right? Because if a game does come out, and I'm not saying, I said this earlier in my stream this week and in my breakout video, okay, everyone knows that the Xbox tax that everyone talks about, right? It doesn't matter if it's Xbox or PlayStation. If a game is good, they can sway it to make it be really good. If a game is bad, they can sway it to be really bad because they have the power to do that and the sway, because the average goer that listens or reads Eurogamer and doesn't know that IGN bought them, okay, just thinks that Eurogamer is telling them that this game is good or bad, okay? Instead of having an agenda pushed, if they are doing that, okay? I'm not saying they are. I'm saying that it's potentially they can. I showed a video earlier this week about all the news stations that were owned by CBS, and every single news station said the exact same thing because someone wrote the script, and 48 different news outlets said the exact same thing verbatim, just different people saying the same thing, okay? And they said, this is a very bad for our democracy. Well, this is very bad for gaming democracy because if you're looking for a review or if you're looking for some sort of information, you don't know who to believe anymore because they're all run by the same corporation, and this is terrible, right? What do you think about IGN buying all these other companies and what's happening with the industry itself? Before you say it, Robert Jones with a $2 super chat. He says, "Wait a freaking minute. They own Humble Bundle? Yes, they do." Right, so there you go. So what do you think about this, Sarge?
I don't think we have. I probably maybe have a handful of outlets that are in the gaming sphere that actually write stories, proper stories, instead of clickbait nonsense. The structure of what journalism is now is basically garbage. Yeah, we went from speaking the truth and trying to figure out the facts of whatever it is story we're looking for, and to give that and put that in the public sphere so the public is well informed about what's going on around them. Instead of that, we're going for, I have to say the craziest shit possible in order to get clicks, otherwise I get fired. That's not journalism.
Right.
On any level, it's not journalism. If you're not, as a journalist, your job is to do who, what, why, where, how, and then shut the fuck up. That's your job. Tell me the facts of what's going on and let the public decide what's happening and let them decide how they feel about it, right? Your job is not to pick the topic, put it on the pedestal, and either shield it from all kinds of criticism or take a machine gun and mow it down because you don't like it because it goes against your ideology, right? That's the problem we have right now. And if at any moment you think that consolidation of video game journalism is a bad idea, you already did the little video earlier about what happens when regular journalism.
Yeah, sure, all the things.
What's under the same umbrella? We all know they all read the same script. They all say the same things. Well, the only thing that they change is the city name that they're reporting from. Otherwise, all the stories are the same. That's not news. That's basically a fishbowl, and we tell you what to think. That's what that is. Right. That's the problem.
Well,
now in gaming, right? And this goes along with the main story, bro, because as soon as gaming was making more money than most other industries,
all industries combined,
everybody else had to get a piece of the pie. And the only way that they could get a piece of the pie is if they could control the information about gaming. And so we tell you what's good. We tell you what to buy. We show you this. We show you that. And what we want to sell you is held up above everybody else.
Right.
Right. So if nobody's talking the truth and everyone's just trying to give me propaganda on what I should buy, then it's not journalism anymore.
Right. Well,
it's just not journalism.
What PL is saying in chat, he says you can't read only one news outlet. You have to compare and contrast. At least facts are buried sometimes, right?
That would be true, PL.
But
if there were different companies
right.
owning these people,
so,
they all own the same.
This is
the
the problem.
Same dude.
So
that's the problem.
This is what I was saying earlier. If someone doesn't know that Eurogamer is owned by IGN or VG247 is owned by them, and you're just a VG247, like you're a fan, you like one of the writers, you like the opinions that he writes,
whatever the reason why,
whatever it is, right? You like that, and you think, oh, that's his opinion. You don't know that it's his opinion anymore, because if you're not reading Eurogamer, and Eurogamer has the exact same script as this, and this has the same script as that, and IGN has the same thing as this, then it's no longer compare and contrast. It's literally just everything's the same. And you're like, well, if this outlet says it and this outlet says it, well, it must be true, right? Like a journalist, you have to get two sources, right? Three sources, really, but two sources to actually make something, right? One's a rumor, two means it could be real, third one guaranteed, right? All separate sources. They don't know each other. You try to find it. But now, if you're a person trying to, is this game good? Well, let me go to this outlet. Oh, this one says it's good. Oh, this one says it's good. Oh, this one says it's good.
Well, there must be a winner.
It must be good, right? And that is the problem. That is the problem when you own all the actual outlets that are doing this. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna do it. I'm just saying I can't trust any outlet that's owned by one company if they own 15 different outlets.
But that's the issue. Nobody asks questions. The public, as an adult, right? As an adult, an actual adult, it's up to you to make sure that the information given to you is factual. Nobody currently has time to fact check the news because the news is supposed to be reporting facts to the public. But instead, we are being given whatever information is required by them, and then we are supposed to interpret that and figure out if it's the truth or not. That's not going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. Everybody has got plenty of time to swipe left or swipe right and be on Facebook 6 hours a day checking out their popularity status. But no one has the time to say, hey, listen, the last 3 guys told me that this was A, but my friend told me it was really B. Do I want to check to see who's factual and who's not? Nope. Too busy. Got to look at something else, right? The job of a journalist is supposed to report facts,
right?
Objectivity and facts.
Well, here
you write your opinion piece under the section called opinions,
right?
Not the whole fucking paper, the whole article, everything in the damn building is opinion. Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to work.
This is going to be very, very bad for a lot of actual journalists that are out there because
probably more money for everybody, Mike. That's exactly what it's sure, more money for everybody.
Well, there's some people out there that are still, you look at them and go, well, like I like ACG's reviews. He's not giving news. He's giving his opinion based on the video game he's made. Skill Up has a news section now under his Patreon. Bueller News has his own news section that they actually have news that they report on. They're not just pulling it from other sources, right? They actually call people up, have news stories, have comments and stuff like that. So they have theirs. So this could be the uprise of actual other people that are independent journalists, but you have to have backing to do journalists, right? Because if you're a news outlet and you're just doing video games, sure, you still need a budget to do that, to contact and do certain things. But if you're a news outlet where you cover politics and news and sports and whatever else, you need backing for that, man. And if no one's doing the backing for this, and the people that do the backing are the same people that do it for the rest of the outlets, then there's no reason to actually have it anymore. It's just bullshit.
Long before the year 2000 happened, people read papers and magazines on actual paper and magazines.
Yeah.
Right? And journalists wrote articles because they knew how to write well, and they wrote about things that they were passionate about or wanted the public to know about. And people who knew how to write words properly and to interest the public into subscribing to their paper or magazine in order for those things to survive. At some point in the past, I'm not sure exactly when it is, we went from people who knew how to write words in a way to make people interested into, I have to write the most salacious shit ever in order to get clicks. That's the difference.
Right, or AI's writing it.
That's the difference.
Or AI's writing it.
Right. But the point is you are not, the whole integrity of the entire profession
completely shattered.
Is completely destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But nobody's asking any questions. The people who are being lied to and being given false information are just like, we say, oh, it's just the way it is now, right? You said the analogy a couple times in your show where somebody's house is on fire, sad, but you don't care. Then you realize it's in your town, and so you're kind of concerned, but you made it to work on time, so no big deal. Then the block down the street's on fire, and you're like, hey, the block down the street's on fire. Is someone going to help us? And you're like, no, we're good. Don't worry. It'll burn the other half of the neighborhood.
Right.
Then when you're on fire and you ask for help, there's nobody left because they've all burned because you didn't want to say shit, right? It's the same thing, right? It is up to the public to be informed. And if you're not getting the information, you're supposed to ask the questions, why? And why are those people writing? And why do they still have a job? And why do I keep listening to them? You're supposed to ask the questions at that point because they're not providing you.
Right. No, and I agree. And here's the big thing. There's no competition. IGN has hundreds of millions of viewers. Okay. The next person down has like hundreds of thousands of viewers, right? They were at their saturation point where they weren't making enough revenue, right? So they had to buy other ones to get those people that, honestly, they're like, I don't like IGN, so I don't go to IGN. They went to Eurogamer. They went to VG247. They went to all these other sites. But now all these people still think they're supporting these other studios, but they're not. They're supporting IGN because IGN is the Microsoft, right? Is the EA, is the Activision Blizzard in this scenario.
Did you see the whole hubbub of the Microsoft program that's going to record everything you do on your PC?
I did. I didn't want to talk about it on this. Yeah.
That's not a story?
Well, it is a story, but it goes into more.
We could say two things. We could say that's already been happening. I don't know why everyone's so upset about it.
It goes into more politics than anything.
Right,
that's why I didn't want to talk about it.
But the fact that remains is that they're thinking about doing that should.
Oh, they're not thinking about doing it.
Out of you.
They're not thinking about doing it. They're going to do it. That's just it.
Yes, but I need the button on my screen to say, "Do not agree."
Yeah.
Not just agree to continue.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. Right. I hit that okay, but I agree. Yes. It should be an opt-in, not an opt-out. It shouldn't be defaulted as I'm in. And then I have to find the fucking thing behind the thing to say, no, I don't want this to happen. It should be automatically, do you want to do this? No, I don't. I don't want to opt out. I want to opt in, and I don't want to opt in. So don't fucking put it on my screen.
They'll phrase the question with a double negative so people press like no meaning yes type of shit. That's what they'll end up doing.
Right. They'll be like, wait a minute, if I hit no, does it mean yes?
So basically Microsoft decided that, oh, well, how do we increase revenue? Well, if we figure out what everybody wants all the time, our advertisement would be insane. And like that's somebody's thought process.
Right. Well, AI is going to be writing all the stuff now. And Tom Warren,
and I won't be reading anything IGN owns.
One of the guys that works for VGC or Verge, I'm sorry, The Verge. Okay, Tom Warren, he tweeted something out earlier today, and I was like, this can't be real, right? And he says, Google's AI search results are a disaster. I hate that this is turning into a resource that can no longer be trusted. Okay, and here it says, guy types in, okay, cheese not sticking to pizza. The first thing that pops up in Google, it says cheese can slide off pizza for a number of reasons, including too much sauce, too much cheese, or thick sauce. Here are some things that you can try. And the part that he has circled here, it says, mix sauce and mixing cheese into the sauce helps add moisture to the cheese and dry out the sauce. He says you can also add 1/8 cup of non-toxic glue to the sauce to give it more tackiness. Okay, this is a thing that AI is now searching. Okay, that's putting it up there. Now, obviously, survival of the fittest. Because if you're putting fucking non-toxic glue on your pizza to keep the cheese on from falling off, I mean, there's Tide Pods that, you know what I'm saying? So, like, this is crazy, right? Everyone's like, oh, AI is so great. Fantastic, right? It's telling you to put an 1/8 cup of non-toxic glue on your pizza. Okay, and someone's like, that's what it says. Like, idiocracy, man. It's fucking Brondo. Like, it's happening in real time right now. Okay.
I'll give you the idiocracy moment I had just today. Right. I called the pizza place for delivery.
Right? Do they use non-toxic glue? That's my first question.
It's a place I always call from. I call up, guy answers the phone, he answers differently, and I go, "Is this Cannoli Kitchen?" Right? And he said, there's a pause, and he goes, "Yeah, it's the same place. It's just been bought, but the people who work here are the same. The cooks are the same." I said, "Okay." I said, "I would like to order a pizza for delivery."
Uh-huh.
He then said to me, "Well, I'll give you the website," and he reads it out to me, and he goes, "You can just order, and then we'll go from there. Call me back." And I go, "Wait." I said, "I called you now. That's why we're on the phone. I'm calling to order a delivery." He's like, "Yeah, there's a website for that." And I go, "So you want me to hang up and go to the website instead of you just taking my order like you've done for the last 3 years?"
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, you want to order on the phone?" Yes. Yes, I want to order on the phone. That's why I called you.
Press. Right? I would have just started pressing buttons, Sarge, and be like,
right.
Is this an operator? One.
Then I said, "Yeah, That's right, Aunt Jemima. That's exactly what I said to myself. Then I said, I'd like to. He goes, go ahead with the order. And I said, I like a large cheese pizza cooked well. Then he goes, do you want it cooked well or do you want it crispy? And I go,
I fucking hate people like that.
Isn't it the same thing?
Sarge,
isn't a crispy pie cooked well? Hang on. He then said, he goes, no, there's regular, crispy, and well done. I'm like, really? So if I just ordered a regular pie, is the cheese melted, or is it just basically cheese and bread with some ketchup on it, and then I have to heat it up in my house? What the fuck is the difference between regular, crispy, and well done? Right? Well done is crispy. You fucking monkey. Why don't you just order the fucking food I'm telling you to put in? What are we doing?
I hate when
what
I go to.
What are we doing?
I've actually sat down at a restaurant and I give them my order. They're like, "Are you ready to order?" I'm like, "Yes." And I'll say, eggs over medium, wheat toast. And they're like, "What type of toast do you want?" I'm like, "Wheat toast." "How do you want your eggs?" "Over medium." I go, "Never mind." I just stand up and I walk out because I literally just spoke to you what it was.
Didn't hear a thing because he was told. Follow this procedure, and then afterwards, ask them how they want the eggs.
Hold on a second. Let me turn the page. He asked him. He said, "Hello, hello. How are you?" "I'm having a good day. How about yourself?" Turn page. Turn page. "Okay. What would you like to order?" "Put napkins down on table." Like what? I'm telling you, man.
What are we doing, bro?
People are. It's so fucking frustrating. But fucking frustrating. Anyway. There you go, guys. Eighth a cup of non-toxic glue on your pizza to make sure that cheese sticks on there. Right? Good luck to you. I hope you.
That's easy, PL. See, what I do is, I always by the end of the week I always block a bunch of numbers that say scam likely, right? But on the I do it for some sadistic reason. Like the 10th scam call I get, I answer to see who it is. And then I go on this tirade and they talk to them about all kinds of shit. I let them talk and then I ask questions and I keep them on the phone for as long as possible. And then I don't do anything. I don't buy nothing. I just keep them busy for like 45 minutes because I'm bored. Right?
This is how actually it works. Oh, I know, Altern. I know.
Crispy or well done. What are we talking about, bro?
So here's a rumor. I want to preface this with the rumor.
Button.
Hit the rumor. This is rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. Okay, this is our rumor section. Lots of rumors in this section. Okay, doesn't mean they're true. We're just having conversations about it. Okay. Okay. So someone posted and said, "Rumor: Microsoft is preparing to offer $16 billion to Steam." Now, I personally don't think this is happening. Okay, it's just a rumor. Okay, but I thought it would be an interesting conversation to have, Sarge. Okay, now Gabe, okay, he's worth $4.3 billion, about as much money as George Lucas got paid for Star Wars back in 2012. Okay, the company's worth, I think, $7 or $8 billion as of when I looked it up earlier. Okay, they're offering $16 billion. Okay, now Microsoft, if this is true, that's double the price of what it's worth. Now, they did this with Discord. Now, Discord turned down the money a couple years ago when they asked for 7, and Microsoft said, "We'll give you 12, or I think it was 15 or whatever it was, and they turned it down. Okay, and then Discord didn't sell at all, and they just kept it to themselves, right? They valued the company.
They did math in their head.
Yeah.
They lowballed themselves, figured out that they offered them that much money, and they go, "We must be doing something wrong that we're not making that much money."
Right. So,
right, that's what happened.
So everyone's saying that there's no way this is happening. And I said, if it does happen, it's just Gabe going, you know what? I'm just tired of this, and I'm just going to sell it. Now, obviously, rumor. I'm going to say it again. Rumor. We're just having a conversation if it did happen. Okay. If Microsoft paid $16 billion, right? Everyone's like, well, the FTC is going to step in. They won't let them do it. It's a privately owned company. It's just Gabe's company, right? It's a handshake and the cash. Okay. That's all that happens. If Microsoft gets Steam, what does this mean for gaming? What does this mean for the industry? What does it mean? What happens? We just talked about consolidation with IGN, right? Buying all these other companies up. What does this mean if Microsoft actually bought Steam or any company I'll be honest with you. Microsoft is big because they're already massive on PC, right? With the operating system and everything else they have. But now Steam is the king. Steam is the king of PC gaming. If Microsoft gets a hold of this, what does it mean for us?
It'd be the end of gaming because Microsoft will control everything.
Right.
I mean, you want me to sugarcoat this? There's no sugarcoating it. You're basically, it's all digital. I own all the avenues out and how to get a game. I can set the price for whatever I want. You have to be in my ecosystem. Period. There'd be no more options. Right? I can't physically buy anything because you got rid of the middleman already. Everyone thinks it's great because of the convenience level. I don't have to buy through a middleman. But now they own it from ship to nuts. They own the whole thing. How is that going to benefit anyone? And I know somebody in the background is going to scream out, the prices will come down. It'll be magical. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. If you believe that the prices are going to come down, you're an idiot. I'll say it out loud now. Whoever thinks that because that's what's going to happen, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
anybody who controls the entire thing will never lower the price.
Dupless, I understand everyone says that Gabe won't sell. I mean, he even said, and Elweezy put it in the Discord the other day. He said that he told EA he would rather, I think he said, I would rather be disintegrated than sell to EA, right? And I get that, right? Because he just doesn't like EA. But everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. If it's 16 billion or if it's 21 billion or if it's 30 billion, whatever it is, everybody has a price. To say that he's never going to sell is the same thing, because it's the same thing as there's no way that Activision Blizzard gets sold to Microsoft. There's no way that Disney buys Star Wars. There's no way that Marvel gets bought out by Disney, right? There's no way someone buys Fox. But there is a way, because there's money. And the world that we live in operates on money. Okay? So to say that it's not going to happen, there's no way. In this conversation that we're having, it is. It is happening. And what does it mean for gaming if it does happen? And I think it's very bad if it happens. Yeah, very bad. Okay. How much does Steam make a year? I think he made something along the lines of I think it was like 4 billion or some shit like that in like 1 year or something. I forget. Let me look it up real fast before
But nobody's playing games.
Let's see. Steam's value per year. Let's see. Offering from third-party developers and publishers, estimated that Steam generated more than $10 billion in revenue in 2021 when the PC gaming segment saw a boom during COVID-19. So just Steam alone sold 10 billion.
That's during the COVID
Sure.
year. The COVID year. So maybe you subtract about 30% or something like that. That'd be fine.
Right.
So you're 7 billion, 6.5 billion. That sounds about right.
Right. Now it says the company's valued at $7 to $8 billion. Okay. And they're offering double that. Right? They could probably offer triple that. They own $3 trillion worth of value. Okay. They're the most expensive, richest company in the world as of this today. Okay, during episode 397 on May 23rd. It could change tomorrow, right? But on May 23rd, they're the most richest company on the planet. Okay, obviously, I don't want Steam to get sold to Microsoft. I don't want Steam to get sold to anybody. I want it to be independent. I want it to be private because it is that, in political terms, it's the third party. You know what I'm saying? There's Democrat, Republican, and then there's the third party. There's these other console creators, there's these corporations, and yes, Steam is a corporation itself, but it's a private corporation.
Yeah, but I don't really believe it's a third party. It's more like it's basically the digital middleman.
I was just gonna say it's Sweden. It's Sweden.
Yeah. There's no middleman for physical anymore. So Steam is like the middleman for the digital world. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see what chat's saying. The $1 million man WWF said everybody's got a price. That's right.
Yeah, because Steam basically, if you think about it, the way he runs it, like you could be buying product from whoever, right? Let's say you're buying the product from whoever's making the game, like a PlayStation game that's released on PC or whatever. But here's the deal: he can set the price. He pays PlayStation whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Right, or whatever the deal is. But when he sells it on Steam, he can sell it for any price he wants because he can use other titles in the lineup to pay for the difference that he might be losing for that title in order to sell more copies of that game. That's what the original band used to do all the time.
Right.
This is just a digital version of that.
Right.
But if Microsoft owns it all, then there legitimately is no middleman.
I don't think he's buying it or selling it, but I do believe they're in bed together. I do believe that Steam and Microsoft are making a deal behind the scenes, not to own, right? Not to own Steam, but to partner up with Steam. If that's Steam is on Game Pass, or Game Pass games or something is linked to Steam, or you can link you know what I'm saying? Something's happening behind the scenes. I personally don't think
we won't know right away.
Well, we could find out next month with the showing, the summer showcase, right?
But you have to remember they're very particular about what they talk about, especially for something of that magnitude, because it affects stock prices a lot. Rumors like that would affect stock prices.
Sure.
So I don't think that they would mention anything about that until they were 100% ready to do something.
Yeah, I just don't see. God, I mean, Newell's just. I mean, he's got $4 billion. What's another 16 billion? You know what I mean?
It's not at that point. It's not about the money anymore. If you're tired,
no, exactly. It would be like I'm done.
If you're tired of doing it because you don't want to do it anymore, and you've got nobody you want to leave it to because they're going to run it shittier than you would,
right?
And you don't care anymore,
just sell its soul,
right? But that would be, but legitimately, if that were the case, gaming as we know it, you would be basically locked in for whatever they want to charge you for. That's what you'd have to pay.
Eric in chat says Jeff Grubb talked about this today on a podcast. There was agreement that Steam will show up on the next thing that Xbox is working on as an app. Well, there you go. Maybe they paid $16 billion for the app to show up on the thing, right? I mean, I find that much more plausible than someone buying Steam straight up. Now, obviously, I'd never say never. And it wouldn't surprise me if Microsoft's like, 18, 20 billion? We'll just give you 25 billion. That's fine, right? Right? Just leave it on the doorstep. You'll look at that stuff and go, well, they literally just paid what, 70 billion for Activision Blizzard. Steam is 16 billion. That's like that's like a chump change.
Yeah, and Activision Blizzard isn't doing dick. What are they making?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What are they making? Where are the firings for all of them? Did they mention that yet? Like all of them being let go? Like just hack and slash?
FTC couldn't do anything to Microsoft. It's a privately owned company. Literally, all he has to do is go, I'll give you $20 billion. And Gabe goes, deal. Handshake, sign a paper. There you go. Done. There is no FTC. There's no nothing. No one can stop the deal because Gabe owns the company and he sold it to the other company that wanted to buy it. Done. That's it. There is no FTC after the fact. After Microsoft owns it,
there'd be a precedent.
Then someone else can come in. Yeah, no one would be able to stop it. It would just be a handshake and a buy. That's what it is. It's like owning a car. Here's the keys. There you go. Keys to the kingdom.
Who else do you buy games from besides Steam? What else is there?
There's Epic. There's GOG. There's
Epic's been bullying everybody for a while now, right?
Well, Epic's losing money on their launcher. They're just trying to. They're basically the Xbox of the PC realm, right? They came in late into the realm of PC, and they're just trying to hang with Steam because Steam is the Netflix. Steam is the Google, right? Steam is that of games. That's the top spot of where people buy the games. So there's GOG, there's Epic, there's Steam. I'm sure there's a couple other, smaller little entities out there, but Steam is a juggernaut. I mean, they own the show. No one comes close to them.
Well, they've been there since the beginning.
Right. They're the Google. They're they're the ones. I don't know. My guess. It's not a guess. It's a privately owned company. It doesn't matter. The FTC has nothing to say in someone's privately owned. Like, you come on my property, you buy something from me. It's my to you, right? You got to pay your taxes to the government afterwards, but they don't care if you buy it. It's privately owned, right? If it was publicly and there's a board of directors and stuff like that, then it's a completely different story. If there's stocks involved and
conversation about it,
yeah,
like, oh, wait a minute, Steam is the only one selling video games now. Microsoft owns the only platform. well, there's still GOG and Epic. And then we're like, yeah, I guess
Exactly.
that would be okay. I guess that would be okay.
Yeah, and then this sets the precedence, right? Because then Apple will be like,
it
"Well,
would
we're buying
definitely set a
Epic,"
precedent.
and then because Epic is
Right.
right, or
That's exactly
Amazon
what
buys
happened.
something, and then everyone, and then it literally just becomes
And then there would be no middleman for Digital World.
right. And then it would be like Idiocracy. It would be like Brondo, where one company is just everything, right? That's what happens if you don't stop it. So that's just a big rumor. It's a big rumor. Another rumor that we're going to talk about is Creative Assembly is developing a Star Wars Total War game. It's claimed. A new report of the DualShock has claimed that Creative Assembly is developing a new Total War game based on Star Wars universe. According to the outlet report, a total of 3 different Total War games are in development. Total War Star Wars, or whatever it will be called, will apparently be the second game of the 3 to release, and it's unclear how long the game has left in development, which is funny because a couple months ago, Sarge, we were talking about, we were like, man, they should bring back a Star Wars RTS game, right? Here it is. You're excited, right?
I dug a little deeper. I think the order of releases, there's supposed to be a World War I Total War game, which I don't think is going to do well. Honestly, I'll be honest. Maybe a certain class of RTS player might like World War I, but I don't think it's going to go over really well. After that one, Star Wars will be following that one because that's the one I want to release next. They said that's possibly about 2026. And then the third one is supposed to be the new Total War game.
Total War 4, I guess that would be, right?
I'm not sure if it's
if they do numbers, right?
No, I'm sorry. It's total. Yeah, wait. It's Total War, Warhammer 40K, not the fantasy.
I gotcha.
Like Dawn of War. You know what Dawn of War is, right?
Yeah.
So picture Total War, like that kind of game, like the 40K stuff, the future stuff.
I hope Total War. I hope the Star Wars game is true, and I hope we see something soon.
It is true.
My only
concerns is I think it pushes the envelope of that series because Total War basically is the realm of like on the ground, your land battles, land control, that kind of thing with economics involved and political stuff involved. But when you do a Star Wars version of Total War, how do you do the space battles and everything else? Like I look at Empire at War and I go, so you guys are going to do this but better? Like that's what I see.
Right. Right. This is is where it is. You want to go above that. Yeah.
If you're doing Total War Star Wars,
right, you do the 16. Obviously, it's completely different.
War, like a better version of that. Like that's what you're doing.
16 years ago, it was this. Now you got to beat it, right? It's a 16-year-old type of like you got to do what they did, but better.
I agree with you. I agree with you. No, that's not. It's not that it's not true. It is true. The order. I dug around. Keep digging. You'll find it. The order is World War I, then the Star Wars game, and then the 40K game. That's what's about to happen. My concern is that when the World War I game comes out and doesn't do well, it's going to cast a shadow on
like
whether
Star
or not
Wars.
if the studio is continuing to do the Star Wars and the 40K. Now, we all know that Star Wars and the 40K one would sell like hotcakes. Write that down. Hotcakes, right? It's going to sell like Aunt Jemima, flapjacks, right? Aunt Jemima would be happy about it because they're going to sell crazy. But they have to get past the World War I game. I listen. I know the Total War games have been stretching it out. They keep doing all these other different kind of scenarios and from different time periods. You can't release a Total War game like you release on a COD. It doesn't work that way. You can't release it that way. If you pick a good time period and the game is good, it's got a good grasp on the time period that you're in and good strategy. Yes, it'll work. Like the Total War games, of course, we're doing well. There's 3 of them. Right?
Shit ton of expansions. Yeah.
But I told you this before, the whole marketing behind it is genius, right? If you never bought 1 and you never bought 2 like me, and you just bought 3, you're ecstatic because you got the best version. However, they show you in the beginning screen that there's 32 factions and you get 8. And I go, okay, so how do I unlock the rest of these factions? Well, Sarge, glad you asked. You can pay each faction like $16 or $20 for whatever it is, or here's the genius part, or you can buy Total Warhammer number 2 and it unlocks 10 because those are the 10 that were in that game. right? And so that if you buy Total War 1, you get the other ones. So they make you buy the other games in order to get the factions. Otherwise, you have to buy each faction individually. It's genius. Because people get bored if they play the same team over and over again. You got to have flavor.
Krebsy says he's answering something from before the last story. He says, if Microsoft needs to answer to regulators, since they are a public company, to protect the interests of the investors, then break Steam and Microsoft up like they're trying to do Ticketmaster, need a lawyer. Yeah, they would have to just, again, I'm not a lawyer.
Did Krebsy start looking up stuff online?
Yeah,
Where was he this whole time?
Krebsy does this. If, again, I've never made a massive corporation. I know people that have made big deals with private companies and stuff like that. If the investors of Microsoft, obviously they would have to go to the board of directors and say, hey, we're thinking about buying Steam. The board of directors would be like, what the fuck is Steam? Because they don't play games, right? And they're like, it's a game thing. It's like where you buy games. They're like, oh, okay, so how much money am I making? And they're like, well, we're going to spend this much money. And they're going to go, well, we spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard. Yeah, you know that, right? They're like, yeah, that made money for us. Yeah, okay. They're like, well, we're going to spend $16 billion, and it's going to be huge because this is the biggest platform. They're like, well, that sounds good. That's it. They okay it. Then they move on over and they go, Gabe, we talked it over, and we want to buy you. And he goes, I'll take $35 billion. And they're like, okay, $35 billion it is. And then they sign a check, and then it's off today. It's a FTC can't do shit. Nobody can do shit about it because it's a privately owned company. All right, next rumor, Sarge. Speaking of Valve, okay, Valve. Next game rumored to be a 6v6 hero shooter called Deadlock. Okay, so Valve might have sprung a leak. A handful of screenshots, supposedly from Valve's next big game, allegedly a competitive shooter called Deadlock, appeared on a 4chan and Twitter yesterday. A word from multiple dedicated Valve on Twitter. Are we still calling it Twitter? I thought it was called X. Is that Deadlock is a 6v6 third-person shooter that takes inspiration from Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, and Dota 2. The most confident description of Deadlock are coming from Gabe Follower, a Valve-focused content creator. A 6v6 battling on a huge maps with 4 lanes, usable abilities and items, tower defense mechanisms, and said the project yesterday on Twitter, or X. Fantasy setting is mixed with the steampunk, magic, and weird creatures and robots. Fast traveling using floating rails, similar to BioShock Infinite. So I think they show, there's some screenshots, I think, here of what they're putting out here. So here's a couple of screenshots of it. There you go. Cutting Predator, Great Italian, uses a combination of deadly accuracy and traps. Here's the thing with all these games, right? Obviously, it's a MOBA and it's a battle royale or whatever the fuck, a team-based shooter. Is it going to make it in this part of gaming right now? Remember the 6 games are being played by like 90% of people, right? And everybody else is playing 7-year-old games, right? There's only 6 games everyone's playing: Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, Call of Duty. There was something else. I forget what it was, right? Everybody else is not paying. So when you have a game like this, do you need a big chunk of people to play it? Or do you just need a small, finite group of people to keep this game running? Like, you don't need tens of millions. You just need like 600,000, 300,000, right? That's the only way these games make it.
I don't think I believe that for a second. I think if they don't get the number of people that be in the game doing homework assignments every week, 3 times a week, they move on to the next game. I don't look at this as anything that's intelligent at all. How are you coming out with a team-based shooter when you see what the other team-based shooters have done, and Overwatch just dropped the ball, doesn't follow up with anything about it because nobody cares about it, and you think you're going to outdo that one, and that one was the popular one.
Right. Well,
that one was the popular one, and they never even finished up on doing the PvE that they wanted to do. They keep removing features.
Yeah, like Overwatch, yeah. Well, Valve's, their games are always hits, right? They had a Team Fortress. Well, no, Team Fortress, right? Still popular.
Team Fortress was fucking 15 years ago.
Eclipse is saying to those people who are still playing Team Fortress 2, and they would just move over to that. Perhaps right?
I mean, if their schedule is opened up without all these homework assignments for your guys' battle passes, you guys have to keep
no,
doing.
Team Fortress doesn't have that. I don't believe. Last time I played
it doesn't have that yet.
Yeah.
The version of the game that's coming out now will. Listen, team-based shooters, they were fun. Everybody wanted to play it. I didn't play them because I didn't think they were that fun. I thought, listen, if I can't get 6 people to work together in a first-person shooter, what makes you think the only 6 people in the game are going to work with each other, right? I'm in a massive multiplayer game doing war stuff like Hell Let Loose. We're on a team with 50 people. I'm trying to get 6 people to work together in the group that we're in, right? Team-based shooters, that's the only 6 people you have. And so you have to work together. And so when someone decides they want to be the champ and they don't want to work together, then pretty much the team loses.
Well, this is why I said I don't think it needs tens of millions of people to play the game. I think obviously when it first comes out it'll be popular.
Then why are these other games not so popular? They have 10,000 people.
I think they can make a lot of money from a smaller portion of people.
How many people do you need to make money on a game like that?
But look, what I'm saying is, obviously I don't know the budget of the game. Let's say the game was made for $20 million.
Well, we know the game's been at least over for the last 4 or 5 years. When did Overwatch come out?
No, but what I'm saying is, if it's, let's say it took $20 million or $50 million, right? Can it make its money back with microtransactions? I'm pretty sure it could. If they could make a simple game, this is why it's an arena team-based type of game instead of a open world, large maps. It's smaller, takes less time to make. Put it out there, microtransactions.
I mean, but don't you find it interesting that the Marvel hero shooter just came out and now another one's going to come out not soon after? Isn't it strange that all of a sudden, after X number of years, that all of a sudden more team shooters are coming out all at the same time? Like, nobody knows when these games are releasing, right?
Well,
they don't talk to each other. They don't kind of work it in together in the conversation that we're going to make a team shooter. Oh, right, we're making a team shooter.
Think about this.
Talk to them about it.
Well, here you go. You got Overwatch 2 that's out. You got Marvel Rivals that'll probably be out next year, right? You have they're not all the exact same, but you have Multiverses, which is a team based. Well, it's not team based. It is and isn't. It's a fighting game team. Fighting game.
You got Marathon.
You have Marathon. You have X Defiant that just came out, right? You have the finals that came out in December. You have this game coming out. You have the other game that came out 6 years ago, Gigantica, which was a MOBA game that came back out. Okay, Smite 2 just got announced that the early alpha build is coming out. It's like, what is happening? That all of these team-based shooters, just like you said, Sarge, are they all talking to each other? Like, hey, 2025, 2026, team-based, what we're doing.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's how it works.
Oh, Lawbreakers. Remember, Lawbreakers is coming back out.
It's coming back in a big way. Here's what Lawbreakers will do. They'll wait till the 5th game comes out, and they'll try to squeeze in between the 5th game, and they'll be so popular by then because everyone will be burned out on the last 4 team shooters, and then Lawbreakers comes back out and just is in there for the 5th slot.
Eclipse says DC Online is still going strong. The game might have 10,000 people playing, and that's what I'm saying. Eclipse, I don't think they need to have a huge portion. I think Valve could come out, make a game right at the beginning. 1 million people, 2 million people, 5 million people. X Defiant right now is 2 million people playing. That'll drop down to 100,000 people, right? And out of that 100,000 people, maybe 10,000 people are paying for cosmetics and whatnot, and they're making a good chunk of change, right? We don't know the budget of the game. The next story I want to talk about, Sarge, is Microsoft to make changes. Rumored, by the way, we're still in the rumored section. Microsoft to make changes to Xbox Game Pass tier because Call of Duty is coming on to Game Pass. It's claimed now. Obviously, they paid $70 billion. Do you think this is good or bad that Call of Duty comes onto Game Pass?
But we already discussed this before when Activision got bought out. We said that was the whole court case everyone was involved in because Microsoft would have control of everything. COD is the linchpin for the entire gaming universe, and if Microsoft's got COD, nobody else can make money, right? Like that was the whole court case that went on for fucking months,
right?
For months for COD,
year and a half actually.
Listen. If COD comes out, do you think anyone in their right mind after a 3rd or 4th COD failure that anyone wants to give $60 for any COD game or just play it on Game Pass? Don't you think that's the answer for all the nonsense that COD?
I think it's like 60 or 70% of the people that buy COD or play COD are on PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah.
So so what you're saying is, do you think people that are on PlayStation playing Call of Duty, they would move over to Xbox to pay just a monthly fee to join Game Pass?
That would be something that Microsoft would be hopeful for.
Sure.
Now, the argument was they weren't going to hold COD back.
Correct.
So
they're not going to make a different version, right?
In the universe that we're discussing, Microsoft just puts COD on Game Pass, and then they release COD for PlayStation people to buy.
Yeah,
because that's what they want. Because people on PlayStation want to buy the 5th shitty version of COD for full price.
Right.
That sounds like a better deal than playing just the service and playing COD. So now we're gonna have to change tiers because COD is coming.
Yeah, well, that's the part 2 of the question. Do you think COD is on a regular tier, or do you think they put it in the ultimate tier and they raise the price? Right? Are they gonna raise?
Are you really baiting me this question?
Well, I'm asking. Do you think they're gonna raise the price to $20.25 because the Activision games are on there?
Come on, bro.
We're having a conversation. It's a podcast.
I'm aware, but it almost sounds like there's a gun to your head and you're gonna tell me the truth, or
no,
I shoot you in the head.
You could say that it's going to be on just regular Game Pass.
I can make up a lie. We could talk about a lie for 10 minutes.
These are rumors. You can say whatever you want.
Just like Rebel Outlaws game is $130 and Ubi wants you to buy the $18 a month service, just like that, right? COD will be $80, $90, or you could put it on Game Pass, but not normal Game Pass because that would be too easy.
Right.
You have to get Ultimate Game Pass or Ultimate Uber up to Plus Game Pass, whatever version of the Game Pass you want to make up, right? But that's what's going to happen. $80 Ultimate package, right? And here's the deal. You have normal package. I got normal package. Do I get to play it? No. What do I got to give you? An extra $3? I'll give you $3 more for ultimate plus Game Pass. Let's play COD.
The ultimate Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think they go to 20.
Right,
I
Dave,
do.
Right, Dave. And then they're gonna whip this out of their ass. Hey, by the way, you can get it at an Ultimate Game Pass, but you can play it 3 days early for an extra $40. What a deal!
Yeah,
like that's coming. You know it's coming.
I think they go $20, $19.99, right? To make it a little over 20, right? Because with tax and stuff, it'll be like 22 or some shit. Okay, but it'll be $20, $19.99. COD and Activision games, right? I think World of Warcraft will be a part of PC Ultimate Game Pass, and I think that's how they just don't put COD. Okay,
correct.
They just don't put COD as the carrot in front of you saying, this is why we're raising the price.
They're gonna put WoW in there.
They're gonna put WoW or some other Activision games onto the ultimate part of it, and then that's how they get you to pay the extra.
That's the value proposition.
Right. It's not, to me, again, this is just my opinion. I don't think this is no facts here. This is just my gut, my brain, my prediction. I think they finally say World of Warcraft Ultimate PC Ultimate Edition. So you obviously you're not playing console World of Warcraft. You're just playing World of Warcraft on PC Ultimate, meaning they merge Blizzard.net with Game Pass. They make it a more valuable thing. They take older COD games, slowly drip feed those out, and it's all part of Ultimate. It's not going to be part of the smaller fee. So just like Amazon does with the shipping, right? You get Amazon Prime because of the shipping. If you're an adult, okay? If you're an adult, you're like, the shipping is the best part. But it also comes with Prime Music, Prime Movies or video, right? It has all these other things. Even if you're pissed off and you're like, fuck this, the ads, I don't want to pay the ads. They're like, well, you're paying $110 or whatever it is for the free shipping. You're like, that's true. I got that value right there pays for itself. That is what Game Pass, that's what Microsoft's trying to do right now. They're trying to get that, well, it's only $18, $19, and new games come out all the time. I got the whole back catalog of Call of Duty.
How long ago was it $9.99, bro?
Yeah, well, it still is $9.99. Just the Ultimate's $20, right?
No, the crappy version's $9.99. You
Right.
don't want the crappy version.
So I think that's what they do. I think they make the play, not just COD. COD's part of it, but I think that's what they do for Game Pass. And I think if they don't do it now this summer, it will happen down the road where they do raise the price because they're putting Activision stuff. I don't know if they announce it this show, but it's going to happen down the line, right? Obviously, That's their plan. They want everyone to get on Game Pass. So if COD's on Game Pass, and obviously I asked you the question, I'm going to answer the question, right, that I asked you. It's smart to put COD on Game Pass, okay, for Xbox, because it's the smallest portion of the gamers that play COD. So they're not really losing that much, right? Because the benefit of them getting on Game Pass where they can spend extra money on other things and have that recurring currency for that $10, $12, $18 a month, to have them not pay $70 to play COD on Xbox, where the PlayStation and the PC and maybe even Switch 2 now pays full price for COD, that covers the price for the people that don't pay full price for Xbox, right? Because Xbox only has 32, 35 million people on Game Pass. They're trying to get that number up. But most people play on PlayStation, and they're going to pay $70, $80 for it because that's what they want to do. So they're not dicking out those people. There are people like, oh, I want to pay $80. Like, there you go, pay $80. People on Game Pass are like, I'm not interested in Call of Duty, but it's on there. I'll play it.
Right, it's on there. I'll play it.
Right. And I think it's super smart of them because it's just extra value for Game Pass for them. So that's what I think.
And besides the point, if COD does have the little microtransactions in there for your little dressing up your Barbie doll, dressing up your military guy, G.I. Joe, you're going to make him look like how you want him to look, then they make their money.
Right.
Right? Right, because once again, it's not about the price of the game. It's about getting people into the ecosystem so they spend the rest of the money in the ecosystem. That's the whole game. You're just trying to present a value proposition by introducing software that gets people interested in wanting to pay the service fee to have it, right? If you tell me I get to play COD, no, I'm talking not Sarge now, I'm just talking about some other kid who likes first-person shooters. Right, if I get to play COD and you're going to put World of Warcraft on there and all kinds of stuff, and that's all on Game Pass, and I get to play Ultimate Game Pass for whatever a month, and then you figure out in the back of your mind, well, I would have paid this for this, and this for this, and this monthly for a while. Like, you start to see the value in your head, even though you know you don't play all these games, you don't have the time to play all these games, but the value proposition seems feasible. So you say yes.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'll talk to yourself and you'll say, well, I'll get it for a couple months and then I'll drop
try it out. Just try it out.
Right. But you never really drop it. It's just like every other service you hire up, you basically sign up for, but you never cancel because it's you don't notice it. But meanwhile, there are services now that you sign up for, this is mind-boggling to me. I'm not well enough to cancel the services I don't want, so I sign up for a service that cancels the services that I don't want. Right? You know that, right? Like, that's a real thing.
That's real?
Right? That's a real thing.
Wait a
right?
minute. Let me get this straight. I don't have the time to cancel my thing, so I hire another subscription to cancel my subscription.
I have a subscription service that goes around and cancels all the services that I don't want.
The fuck?
Yeah, I'm aware, Travis. I'm aware, but it's, excuse the language, but you're fucking mongoloid. All right. If you are paying for a service to get rid of your services that you don't remember having, like, that's mental, dude. You're mental. Right. This is why you still rent and own a home. This is why you don't have health insurance. You're a mongoloid. You don't understand how money works. I don't know how to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you.
That's funny. Yeah, I just feel like with all the value of all, they don't need you. And this is from other statistics from other services. Most services only need you on the platform for 3.5 to 4 months 1 week. It's like 4.1 months, right? So if you're on the platform, and it doesn't mean straight, right? So let's put it as a scenario here. Hellblade 2 came out. Someone that didn't have Game Pass is like, well, I don't want to pay $50 for that game. I'm going to get Game Pass. Boom. That's 1 month, right? Then all of a sudden, Starfield's DLC comes out 2 months from now, 3 months from now. Boom. That's month number 2. You cancel again. You come back for a third month because, boom, now Call of Duty is on Game Pass. You're like, I'm going to come back for a third month. You pay for 3 months. Boom. They got you 3 months. That's it. They don't need you to be 3 months consecutive. They just need 3.5, 4 months total. And they get you that's what you're worth. That's the oil rig that's pumping money out of your pocket. That's all they need from you to be sustained with all the millions of people that are playing it, right? So they don't need 35 million people to have 12 months. They just need each person that gets Game Pass to be on there for 4.5 months, but they need a shit ton of people. This is why they're spreading it out. All right, there's a lot of stories we're not going to get to. Okay, I'm just going to read them off just so the headlines so people know they're out there if you want to go read these.
So I could just be angry and look them up later?
Yeah, so new PlayStation portable capable of running PlayStation 4 games is in the works. Rumor. Okay. Sony developing a PlayStation mobile platform. Rumor. Okay.
Ooh.
It's based on a new job posting. It says new job posting of Sony Interactive Entertainment is working on a new platform for delivering, publishing, and operating free-to-play mobile games. I wonder why they're doing that, right? Next thing.
Mystery. It's a mystery.
PC game market grew a lot more than the console gaming market last year, says research firm. Okay, you can go check these out in our Discord to find all these other stories. Another one is Microsoft demos Baldur's Gate 3 and Borderlands running at 30 frames per second on a new Snapdragon X Elite Windows on ARM platform with auto super resolution support in tow. So there you go. We have Multiverses. Studio explains new Battle Pass currencies and free rewards for returning players. I'm a little upset about putting a character behind a paywall, which is a free Battle Pass that if you play the game at all in the last year and a half, you get the Battle Pass for free. But people that didn't play the game, they have to pay the Battle Pass to get Jason Voorhees. I think that's a little scummy. Just give the character and then put the skins, the cool skins. Like they have the Jason X.
They need a hook.
I understand that. They have the Jason X skin. They put that in there. If people have Jason, they'll try to get the, they'll pay for the Jason X skin or whatnot. I think we could talk about this, Sarge. Holdouts. Why some gamers haven't upgraded to PlayStation 5. I think this is an old topic and also it's a new topic. Why aren't people buying PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X or S's right now? Because it's just normal.
It's the same story every generation system.
Yeah, it's since the beginning of time.
The people that want the latest, greatest thing always buy in first, and then when there's a mid generational upgrade, some people might get the older system then because they go on sale. Because video games to most people are just another form of entertainment. It's not the thing that they do, right? Yeah, they think video games are cool. They're cool to play, but they don't look at it like we've been looking at it. Like, I got to have that.
Right.
I got to have the new system. I got to see the new game that comes out. They're wide-eyed and bushy-tailed waiting for that shit to come out. Whereas a normal person who has video games as a form of entertainment doesn't pay full price. They just wait, right? And beside the fact, the last two generations have taught us there's not really a reason for me to get an upgraded system because they don't make a fucking game that
4 or 5 years in, right?
The system,
right?
So what am I buying it for?
Right, and then if you get a game at the beginning, if you wait longer, you get the thing for cheaper. So the longer you wait, the better price you get for all the stuff, right? If you bought a PlayStation 5 at the beginning or an Xbox Series X, and then you get the first party titles.
I'm mad. I got an X.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
You pay full price.
What game did I get? What game did I get for the X that you need? I mean, if you guys say the fucking driving game, I swear to God, I'll ban you. I'll ban you for a week.
Sarge, you don't have to pay for any of those games for first party titles.
No, I understand that. You just get them on Game Pass. Everything's brand.
Yeah, you don't have to buy Halo. You don't have to buy Starfield. You don't have to buy Forza Horizon. You don't have to buy Forza Motorsports. You don't have to buy Sea of Thieves. You don't have to buy.
I'm still waiting for Halo Water. What version of Halo are you referring to? The one that no one cares about anymore? That one?
Well,
the one that we ripped off the chief off the box of the goddamn system and put Starfield on it instead because that was a winner? Come on, man.
The last story I want to talk about is I know people won't even know what the fuck this is, okay, or care, but I think it's funny because we're Generation X, okay? Intellivision and Atari, okay? Two words we haven't spoken to in a long time. Atari has acquired Intellivision brand, ending the first ever console war. Like before Nintendo, before Xbox and PlayStation, there was Intellivision and Atari. Okay, the rebranding Intellivision LLC will continue working on the Amco console. Okay, Atari has acquired Intellivision brand, effectively ending the first console rivalry dating back to the 1970s. They did it. Atari announced today that it acquired the Intellivision brand for certain games from Intellivision Entertainment, LLC, which also has been working on the Amico console for a number of years. The deal will not, however, include Amico. Instead, it'll have Intellivision Entertainment, LLC, will continue to separate rebrand company and continue working on Amico, using the license of Atari to release the Intellivision games on it. Now, the Intelligent Television console has released back in Mattel in 1979 and was responsible for starting the first ever video game console war, going head-to-head against the Atari VCS, later renamed the Atari 2600. And now that both brands are under the same company and a rival essentially over, uniting the Atari and Intellivision after 45-year ends the longest-running console war in history, said Mike McCaw, studio head of Atari-owned Digital Eclipse. Now, the Atari CEO chairman, Wade Rosen, has a very rare opportunity to unite former competitors and bringing together the fans of Atari and Intellivision of a golden age of gaming. The acquisition means that Atari now owns the rights to more than 200 titles of Intellivision portfolio, as well as Intellivision branding and trademark. Are you muted, Sarge? You're muted.
I'm not muted.
Oh, okay.
I'm not muted because I have a list. I
have a list of games that Intellivision owns. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so first of all, chat, let's think about this. How the fuck did Atari amass enough money to buy anybody at all?
Well, you don't remember, Sarge. Atari has like a hotel they're going to build, and they have the system that sucked. They have the other system that sucked.
Yeah, I'm still in the dark of how Atari is buying anything. Now, let's just say Atari is going to buy some guys. Now they're going to buy all the old Activision games that no one gave a shit about. What kind of IP is Atari going to pick up to redo that's going to be amazing?
Well,
what are we talking about?
Well, let me read some to you.
Some disease that like we can't cure measles all of a sudden. Like measles, we had to cure it a long time ago. It's like measles is back, everybody. It's crazy. Like, what are we talking about, Atari?
So let's read off some of the blockbuster games Intellivision owned back in the day. Okay. Those of you that don't know, this is what the Intellivision looked like. Okay.
I know what the Intellivision looked like.
Yeah, we had one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it had the buttons with the little thing and that knob, that little wheel, smooth
Blisters.
as butter. Yo,
blisters,
smooth as butter though. When you did
blisters.
You didn't know
2010 DJ, amazing.
Yeah, you
playing any kind of video game on that thing, retarded. Blister on the thumb.
Yep.
And then you had to use your fingers to press the buttons.
It spun so good that you didn't know you were getting friction burn as you were spinning the thing. That's how smooth it was, right? I don't know if they were using a ball bearing system or what, but man. All right, so here's some of the great games that you guys will be amazed to have. Auto racing.
I'm excited.
Just generic auto racing. Okay.
Awesome.
Right. Boxing. Right. These are the IPs they own now.
Incredible.
Okay. There's the cover art of boxing. Okay. Look at that.
Show me the cover box.
Look at that box art.
That's what sells it.
Look at that box art.
I remember that box art, bro.
The next one, Major League Baseball.
Woo! Awesome.
Yeah. Next one.
They're going to have the red team, the blue team, the yellow team, and the orange team.
NASL Soccer. We don't have a cover. There's no cover for that one. Okay.
Yeah. No,
NBA Basketball. Woo!
Yeah.
That one. Okay. NFL Football, which they can't use NFL or football because Madden owns the rights to NFL football.
So guys playing with a ball.
Okay. We have NHL Hockey. We got PBA Bowling. We got PGA Golf.
I'm flabbergasted by the amount of just sheer entertainment we're about to get.
We got tennis. Okay. We got the U.S. ski team. That's going to be a hot commodity during the Winter Olympics. Okay. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Watch out.
You can't own the IP for that. That's going to go away.
No.
You can't have that.
They can have advanced. They own Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't think they do.
It's not called Dungeons and Dragons. It's called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
It's the same. It's the same. I remember playing that game.
They got Armor Battle.
I played that game.
Armor Battle.
Ooh. Do they have Astro Smash, bro?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Astro Smash?
It doesn't look like it's part of Intellivision. No.
Is Utopia there?
We got Frog Bog. I know everyone's favorite Frog Bog. Yeah. We got Lock and Chase.
That game is famous. Famous from that the video game movie. With what's his face in it? What the hell was it called? Grandma's Boy. That game was made famous by Grandma's Boy.
Lock and Chase, which is Maze Craze / Keystone Capers. Woo! We got Night Stalker. Ooh, look at that cover art. Night Stalker. Okay, we got Sea Battle.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Sea Battle. Shark. Remember Shark?
Yeah, it's the game made by the guy who stutters. Yeah.
What do you got there? I got Shark. Oh, Shark
Yeah.
Shark. Okay, we'll put it down.
Yeah.
Shark. No, just
Yeah,
Shark Shark. Yeah, it's just Shark. Let's put it down.
Yep. Back before we were able to make fun of anybody, the guy who wrote the cover art it stuttered, and that's what they ended up.
We got Sharp Shot. Okay.
These names are incredible.
Snafu.
Ooh, you know what Snafu is? You know what Snafu is, right?
I have no idea what Snafu is.
Was the original Snake. That's right, kids.
Ooh.
Remember Snake on your phone?
Do you mean
Remember
Tron?
Snake on your phone?
Oh, do you mean Tron?
Snafu was the original Snake game. Yep.
Okay. We got Sub Hunt, not to be confused with Sea Battle. Okay, there's Sea Battle.
No.
Look at the cover.
Yeah.
Sea Battle's aircraft
Yeah.
carriers, battleships, and submarines.
One's about the surface,
And the
and
other
one's about
one
beneath.
is just battleships and
I want to go down
submarines.
below. Yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
have Triple Action. Got planes,
Triple
tanks.
Action.
I remember this game. I remember this game.
That game's going to be incredible. You know what that game is? Triple Action is the remake of the Atari game called Combat.
Yes.
That's what Triple Action is. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. We have Tron Deadly Disc.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Then you have
Yeah,
Tron Maze Tron.
I'm excited. These
Sarge?
these are going to come back hard.
Astro Smash is on the list. Smash is on the list.
Done deal. When do I get my new Intellivision? Astro Smash.
Space
And-
Armada, Space Battle.
Fun fact, Astro Smash was one of the games that was on television when they had a video game show about kids playing video games for prizes.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. We have
Yeah.
Space Hawk, Star Strike, and then we have ABPA Backgammon. Watch out!
Incredible! That's the one I wanted all the time.
I can't wait for these AAA combos. Yeah. We have Utopia. All right, Utopia. Look at that. Yeah. Utopia.
I don't even know why I'm talking to you guys anymore. I'm getting ready to buy out the entire series.
And then horse racing. All right, we got horse racing. We got Las Vegas Poker Blackjack, Las Vegas Roulette, and Royal Dealer. I mean, you know what? I could just keep on going and going. Look at this list of amazing games Atari just picked up from Intellivision.
Once again, I think here's what I think. I think Atari bragged about getting a bunch of money that they really didn't have.
Hubert?
And to buy. So basically, what I'm seeing is Atari just bought a company for $1.50. Like Atari pulled together their money. They said, "Do you guys want to get pizza tonight?" And they're like, "No, we don't want to get pizza.
Buy
It's too
Intellivision."
expensive.
Yeah.
Why don't we just buy out Intellivision?" He's like, "Well, how much change do you have on you?" I got $1.50. Fucking sold. Let's get the entire collection, and we can make tens of dollars.
Yeah,
It'll be incredible. It'll be
ABPA
incredible.
Backgammon. We can get that. We can make that game. We can have that license of that.
We can make tens of dollars in the next couple years. It'll
We
be
can
incredible.
buy a whole pie next week.
These guys must be guys who basically saved all their change and decided to start a business, and they sold lemonade, and then they sold handheld games like with little red lines in them, and then they graduated to bigger and better things, and now we are going back in time. We're making an Atari hotel. Like if you thought the Star Wars hotel didn't, the Star Wars hotel didn't even make it a year, and you guys believe the Atari hotel is gonna what?
I don't even think the Atari Hotel opened. I don't think it opened.
What are we talking about? This is some kind of bizarro world thing that it can't be real, and they're just talking about it like it's just
we did a show.
The whole thing is fake. Like the whole thing is fake. Like Atari existing, fake. Atari buying a company.
We did a story.
You don't exist. So how do you buy anybody? Like what are you trying to sell me?
We did a story. We did a story in 2019 about the Atari Hotel opening. And then there's an article, January 17th. Plans for Atari themed hotel in Las Vegas, not dead yet. They haven't done shit with it.
Like I see. Did you ever watch the movie
Yes.
Eurotrip? Right?
Yes, yeah.
Where they go to they're like in Eastern Europe someplace, and the guy gives him a nickel, and he punches the guy in the face, and he goes, with this, I can open up my own hotel. Like he's got a dime. He tipped him a dime and he punched out his boss because now with a dime he can start his own hotel. Like, is that where Atari's located? Atari's located in some Eastern Bloc country where like $1 is like $10,000 or some crazy nonsense.
It's $1 billion or something. Yeah.
What are you talking about, guys?
Yeah, there's certain things that you should just let die, and Atari is one of those. For some reason, someone put it in chat. Dupla said, same reason GameStop's still alive, right? Like GameStop and Atari are like these things that are like a bad rash. They just don't go away.
Yeah,
okay.
But that last GameStop pop that just happened, I made a ton of money on because I still had stock in GameStop. It's just funny to have it. It's just fun.
That's why it's called a meme. It's a meme.
It's just fun.
A meme coin.
Yeah. So
meme stock.
You can keep talking. I'm just going to show these books to Travis because I know he asked me a question.
Oh, that's fine. We're wrapping up anyway.
So I have this one.
That's the Thrawn.
I bought these, but I haven't started reading them yet. I have that one. Then I have this one.
Wait, can you hold that other one up again? Look how thick that fucking book is. Now turn it side. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Good read.
Right, so I have this one and I have this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this one, but I haven't started reading them yet. You can see that I like hardcovers.
A little bit closer to you because you're off screen.
Travis, you can see that I like hardcovers, right? So you understand what I'm doing here. Like, I don't buy paperback. I hate paperback.
You're not just downloading the ebook?
No, bro. I want to own the fucking book. Get the fuck out of here. Ebook. Jesus Christ.
Generation X Gaming is a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. Episode 397 is in the can. We do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us each and every single Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to us and watch us over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. You can also listen to us on YouTube Music. We appreciate you very much for coming out. Go ahead, Sarge.
Before you do the sign off, real quick, over the summer, are we gonna sit down and play a full playthrough of Borderlands 2? I want to get something on paper here.
I mean, we can.
I want to play 4-player though. I don't want to go in just the two of us. I want to be 4-player. We're gonna be talking shit and playing the game. I want to play. Like, I want to play the game for real.
Do you want to do it like every Wednesday for like a month or so?
Well, I figured in the summer. Summer's a little slower, and so I figured we'll have some time.
Yeah, no, I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play it.
All right, so let's put a poll out for the guys in chat. Let's see who has Borderlands 2, still has a copy that works on a system that works, and then we'll play it.
Lurker, you ask about episode 400. Funny enough, before the show started, I said
400.
I don't have anything planned for 400. I don't have time to edit anything, to put together something. So I don't know if we just take
something new.
What's that? Something new?
Yeah, we'll do a new slide.
I don't have time to make a fucking new slide. I was thinking maybe just I would go back and watch some old footage of different shows where we came from. It would be more of a recap show instead of like we would be live doing the show. But I think we go back and look at some of the older stories and older shows over the. Like maybe do episode 1, episode like 50, episode 100, and just look how far we came from that. Maybe, I don't know, something along the lines of that. We could talk about it throughout the next couple weeks. Yeah, I don't have time to like edit stuff, but I could mark stuff down and be like, oh, let's check out episode 1 or episode 100. So we'll figure something out. If not, it'll just be a regular show, and it'll say 400 in the bottom corner. That's it. maybe I would just I could make the 400 bigger in the bottom corner. That's about it. But I appreciate very much for coming out and hanging out and supporting us each and every single week. Just watching and hitting that comment section after the fact. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm tuning out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.